Visit Drexel's Kitchen Event Design Centers at 146th and River Road at North Shadeland or online at drexelin.com. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Spring is here, and Dammons is full speed ahead with endless plant production of perennials, annuals, hanging baskets, roses, and planters. Trucks are arriving with fresh trees and shrubs. Dammons' friendly staff is ready to assist you and get you the help you need. So for any of your gardening needs, experience Dammons South on Emerson Avenue and Dammons West on Rockville Road.
Dammons Lawn and Garden, Indiana's most complete garden center.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Miss M's Home and Garden, Johnson County's Spring Nursery headquarters.
Now your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Cloudy skies, scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder, and mild. Today's high 72. We'll keep it cloudy with a few showers from time to time overnight, a low of 55. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8's Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
It is 60 cloudy degrees in the capital city. I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level on the going at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey starts right now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Yes, we are in day 2 of our ceasefire with the governor.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're just catching up, if you missed the show yesterday, Casey and I, after we watched Braun at that Politburo speech that he gave the other day, I mean, that's what it looked like, right? Remember when Stalin, I mean, you don't remember, you're not that old. But
no, I don't remember.
I'm sure from the video clips you've seen the black and white videos of Joseph Stalin giving the speech, and it was all the party people, and the first person who stopped clapping lost their hands. Saddam Hussein used to do that as well.
Yeah.
That's what that speech Braun gave the other day reminded me of, where he's bragging about these first 100 days, but they know everyone is so outraged that all he did was invite the cabinet people, the statewides, and the lawmakers.
Some lobbyists as well. They were there.
Well, because he knew those people would clap like trained seals whenever he spoke. And in that speech, and then afterwards, he sounded very old. He seemed very tired. You and I are both very concerned he may be a victim of elder abuse at this point.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like he wanted to be there, that he had no enthusiasm for it. And I said, well, look, we can't have some poor old guy getting embarrassed in front of the entire state. We got to do something about this.
Sure.
And maybe we are playing some role in the tired feebleness of his current appearance. And so I said, well, let's declare.
We don't want to contribute to that.
No. I mean, somebody needs to check in on the governor to make sure. Don't they do that if there's allegations of elder abuse? Somebody checks in at the house. Somebody maybe needs to go to.
We need to get an ombudsman.
The governor's mansion and check in and do some investigating. But we said that we thought it'd be fair in light of that to give the governor to declare a ceasefire on our criticism of the governor and give him until Monday at 5 o'clock. Now, Monday at 5 o'clock is important because he's given a big speech Monday evening.
Front Porch Patriots.
Yeah, we got invited to that. And
Should we go?
Well, we have to go. Yes, we definitely have to go. Now there are obviously rules. It's by invitation. We were invited, so we will go. But I thought we'd give him until Monday at 5 o'clock to say, look, we've heard from the people. This is the governor. This is what we want the governor to do. I've heard from the people. Nobody wants this bill. Like, even the chamber's got to be pissed off now since they scrapped the business personal property tax exemption. Remember, that's why the chamber got on board with this, who they dictate everything that happens down the street from us. But even they got to be upset now that they scrapped the business personal property tax exemption.
Yeah.
So we are giving the governor until 5 o'clock. We are calling a truce, a ceasefire, whatever you want to call it, until Monday at 5 o'clock, criticizing the governor, and are saying in light of us doing that, the governor needs to declare a special session for the sole intent and purpose of repealing this horrible bill that nobody likes and nobody wants. And it doesn't really save anybody any money now since they stripped the giveaway to his big business buddies out of there. And then we'll just start over.
Doesn't save anybody money. It actually could cost people more money.
Yes.
No, here's the thing. When you want to support the elder, you want to speak with them gently and respectfully. Let them know you're concerned about them and you want to help. Encourage, Rob, but don't force them to talk. So we'll be very encouraging on Monday when we see him. And
well, no, it's after 5 o'clock Monday. If he doesn't do it by 5 o'clock Monday, that meeting's
all bets off.
Yeah, that meeting's in the evening.
So then we can't be forceful.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I picked 5 o'clock Monday.
Okay.
That gives him until that meeting.
Until then, we have to be gentle and respectful. We do. Our listeners don't. Right?
I mean, what was this? Like, I'm looking at the Indy Star here, and this some letter to the editor. I've never even heard of this person, but it's a letter to the editor. I live in Fishers. Indiana's new property tax law won't help me. I mean, like how many people do you have to hear this from? Does the governor and his people have to hear this from? New laws don't take effect in Indiana until July 1st. There's still tons of time for you to correct this. And by the way, everybody's getting these assessments. I have heard from so many people now. These other counties, they're beginning to roll in. People are even more angry than they were before.
Yeah, but he's sticking with it. I mean, clearly, in 100 days, they've made tremendous progress. That's what they say on their freedom and opportunity agenda. Cutting taxes, number one.
Yeah, I don't know what taxes they cut for who. I don't know. I'm sure there were some big business giveaways that were not. Well, I mean, the utility companies are going to raise utility rates. We know that's going to happen, even though Braun said we're going to let that happen. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew as we start the show today, you're not going to hear any staunch criticism of the governor as we normally would, because we are in the middle of the declared ceasefire in order to reopen negotiations for peace.
So Mayor Joe Hogsett said he is urging city department heads to plan accordingly for the 26 budget cuts in anticipation of the reduced property tax revenue they're going to have. And his quote I thought was a little interesting because he said he's not interested in raising anyone's taxes, income or otherwise. And that Mary...
Since when? When did that start?
Right. What's going on with Hogsett? That's the question.
Well, and this comes back to the broader. And yes, I know Nicholas in the YouTube chat, Braun already said that's not happening, but we've got to give him another chance. How would we feel if there was an opportunity for us to do something to help and we didn't give it one more shot? How would we feel?
Well, we have to.
That would be on our conscience.
Right.
The forever and ever, amen, right? This is the reality of this bill, though, is that nobody has any idea what this thing is actually going to do. So I had a conversation yesterday with someone who runs what I guess I would describe as a thriving Central Indiana municipality, or helps run it. He's one of many people. And I said, have you guys figured out what that business personal property tax decision, because of course they were going to exempt up to $2 million, and then they changed their mind, and now it's zero for now, and then they were talking about not doing it at all. And he said, yeah, it's $1 million for our community. That's not the school system. That's the municipal government is $1 million. He told me, and I have no reason to doubt this person, he's very, very smart. Plainfield, it would be $18 million. It's an $18 million decision for the town of Plainfield.
That's
whatever they do with this business personal property tax. It's all over the map, and they don't know. They don't know what to do. They don't know what they did. They felt they had to do something. They didn't want to actually do the thing which would help the people, and so they came up with this convoluted mess, and now they're like, ooh, we really screwed this up. But if we did the three-step process. What is the three-step process?
The three-step process is to acknowledge a mistake, apologize for the mistake, and then take corrective action.
Yeah, so if they do that, the biggest thing is acknowledge the mistake. They're worried that they're going to get shredded by admitting what they've done to the people. So they'd rather just screw you than do the thing. And so, but you're seeing this, and no one should feel any sympathy for Joe Hogsett. We've gone through that Indianapolis budget before. We've talked about the amount of money they waste on things that have nothing to do with essential services, have nothing to do with daily quality of life, their pet projects, their DEI-related stuff.
$7 million there, that hotel.
But nobody knows how to budget whether it's a good budget or not. That's obviously in the eye of the beholder. Nobody knows how to budget because, one, nobody knows what the thing as it exists right now actually does. And more importantly, nobody knows what the thing's going to look like next year because the legislature doesn't know either.
Seems to be a problem, Rob.
Yeah, it's called not knowing your head from your ass, Casey. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And it is becoming more and more and more and more and more clear that these lawmakers are what I've been saying for 9 years now that they are, they are not. They are not super intelligent people. They do not read the stuff that is before them. Carrie Hamilton, Democrat state rep, Indianapolis, came on this program. We asked her directly, what percentage of the legislature do you think read, much less understood? So we're just talking about read, not process, not understood, but just read that bill before voting on it. She said maybe 10%. That's 15 out of 150 people even read it, much less understood it.
Right.
It's a 360-plus page bill, which means it's 140 pages more than the entire state budget. They had no idea what they were doing, and yet they voted to do it because, and this is the most important part of this, leadership told them what they were going to do.
Right. You're going to just vote yes on this. Okay. Yes, sir.
So Monday, we're going to have a good friend of mine, Dr. Dan Stock, is going to be on with us, and he is going to talk about how to fix this issue related to how the rules. One of the reasons, we're number one.
Yes.
Again, did you see? You saw the ratings.
I did see the ratings.
You can confirm that I am not making up for my two lips right now that Kendall and Casey remain the number one rated radio program for our time slot here in Central Indiana.
Correct.
Yes.
That is true.
That's the music. That's
number
the
one
talk,
time slot, number one station.
And one of the reasons we are number one is not just that we're wildly entertaining, but we educate you on what goes on behind the scenes and what happens and how the sausage gets made for you to get screwed. And so Dan Stock is going to be with us on Monday to talk about how the rules are working to work against change getting made in the system. How guys like Bray and Houston and the governor, because the governor has consented to this process, allowed the rules to make it so that change cannot happen, and these guys can do whatever they want whenever they want. So we're going to do a deep dive on that Monday and pull the curtain back on just how manipulative and deceptive this whole process is.
Okay, well, it's 9 o'clock on Friday, so you got the rest of today. You have all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and even part of Monday. So Braun has time.
That's right. He has time. He has until 5 p.m. Monday. 5 p.m. By the way, I'd like to welcome Stephen Whitmer back to the Kendall and Casey program. Now, he's been very mouthy that he doesn't listen anymore, and I see him commenting in the YouTube chat. Stephen, we welcome you back to the Kendall and Casey show.
It is 93 WIBC. Good morning.
This May, you've got a chance to see what an IndyCar driver's dream garage really looks like. WIBC's Tales from the Track, presented by Relay Indiana, takes you inside Graham Ray Hall Performance, a high-octane hangout where racing meets luxury. Hammer and Nigel sit down with Graham for great stories, laughs, and insights from someone who grew up on the hallowed grounds of the IMS. But this backstage pass to speed, style, and surprises is sold out. The only place to register to win tickets is WIBC.com.
Is kept. Governor Mike Braun's bold leadership is already getting things done for Hoosiers. Governor Braun and State House Republicans are delivering massive property tax cuts. We're talking nearly $1.5 billion in relief. That's real money back in homeowners' pockets. But Braun didn't stop there. He cut local income tax capacity by nearly $2 billion and capped the local income tax rate to protect Hoosiers. And Braun led the fight to reform local government taxes, giving Hoosiers more say by requiring referendums be held in high-turnout elections. Thanks to Governor Braun and State House Republicans, your property taxes will be lower, future increases are reined in, and the system is now more transparent. Visit HoosierHope.org and let Governor Braun and Republican legislators know you support historic property tax cuts. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Technology Recyclers is the safe and ethical choice for your computer and electronics recycling. R2 certified, 100% landfill free, guaranteed destruction of data, and absolutely free pickups. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Mother's Day is almost here. Sundown Gardens is fully stocked with high-quality annuals, trees, shrubs, decor, and more. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Casey question.
What's that, Rob?
Did your kid ever do something that cost you a bunch of money?
No, not really. Not that I can think of. She's a good kid.
Like she never pulled some shenanigans or did something that you ended up having to whip out your pocketbook and...
No, but there was one time that she came home from school and I had to take her back up to the school where she had to apologize.
Uh-oh, what'd she do?
She ripped a poster.
Oh, like that Otto Warmbier guy did in North Korea? Like she just ripped it off the wall?
Well, she was standing near the wall and the poster was on the wall and she kind of was picking at it and,
In front of everybody?
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole class was there.
That was a silly crime.
I know,
to
right?
do it in front of everyone.
Yeah, so we had to go back up to school and she had to apologize to the teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
You made her do that, or that was like there was some sort of agreement of what the punishment would be, or you just did it?
I made her do it.
Oh, you just did it.
Yeah, I said when she fessed up, I said, "Oh, okay," and then we turned right back around and went back to the school, and luckily the teacher was still there. And
so you humiliated her?
No, I didn't humiliate her. I just made her be accountable.
Oh, I bet if you asked her about it today, that is still some sort of suppressed trauma
probably
that has caused all sorts of calamity in her
making
existence.
your kid be accountable for their actions.
Kev's laughing because he knows it's true. I mention all of that.
It's a little harsh, I think.
You think so?
I think a little bit. It's just a poster.
Humiliation's bad. I mean, that's a
She
rough
didn't
one.
apologize to the whole class. It was just to the teacher.
No,
How did the teacher react?
Oh, the teacher was so excited that she was being held accountable.
You dehumanized her.
I did not.
You dehumanized your
I made
kid.
her fess up to her poor behavior.
I guarantee if your relative, your well-assembled relative who was here a couple weeks ago, who does the lie detectors, if we hooked her up to some sort of interrogation or something, and you asked her, she would not be able to pass the lie detector if they asked her about that had caused her some sort of deep-seated trauma or something. Yeah, you don't forget that. I mean, it may have been fine. Like it probably made her the good person she is today, but at an immense cost. So I hope you're happy.
Yes. She's now accountable for her behavior. My bad. Sorry. Trying to raise a good member of society. Blame the parent. Sure, Rob.
I mention all of this because obviously the NFL draft was the big story last weekend. And the story within the story was that Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, has this epic fall. It's the greatest fall in the history of the NFL draft. He's a projected top 5 pick on many draft boards. He ends up in the 5th round. And this guy is Shedeur Sanders. Don't shed any tears for him. He did it to himself. He came off as a complete ass in his interviews. He was not knowledgeable, if you believe the reports, about a bunch of topics. He wasn't on time on some of these. He wasn't even paying attention. Again, these are all reports, but they seem to be there seemed to be more than one of these stories coming out of various teams about how this process went. His dad was very arrogant, and teams just said, we don't want to deal with this guy. The talent, what do you call it, PETA level?
Yeah.
The pain in the backside level is not,
It's
not
higher than the worth.
Right, they're very good. But in the process of all this, he being Shadur Sanders, gets prank called by this college kid who somehow gets his phone number and claims to be Mickey Loomis, who's the general manager of the New Orleans Saints, and says he's leading him on going, hey, we're getting ready to draft you and blah, blah, blah. And then finally just goes, but not right now, and hangs up the phone, right? They're pranking this guy. Well, of course, because the media loves Shadur Sanders because they want this to be a racist thing why he didn't get picked.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, the majority of the players being picked before him were black.
For the past 3 years in a row.
Including the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Right? Black quarterback. Just like last year, black quarterback.
Correct.
But they want this to be a racist thing. They love Dion. They're all in his camp. They make this kid public enemy number 1. Somebody sent this to me the other day. It was my old man who sent this to me the other day. The media put way more effort into learning about this kid that pranked Shadur Sanders than the kid who tried to kill Donald Trump. We know more about the kid that pranked Deion Sanders' son than the guy who tried to kill Donald Trump. Think about how crazy that is.
Yeah.
And so within, what a day, they know this kid's life story, and it turns out he's the son of the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
This was not malicious on the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons' part. They get contact information, obviously, for these college players. There was some sort of database. He foolishly, carelessly left this information available at his home. His kid's home, from college or whatever, sees the thing, goes, oh my gosh, there's this treasure trove of phone numbers, and acted like a complete idiot and takes and confiscates the phone numbers.
Yeah.
So, as a result of this, the NFL is fining the Atlanta Falcons $250,000, and Jeff Ulbrich is this guy's name, the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, $100,000, which is 1/8 of his salary.
Yeah, he makes $1.6 million annually, so it does seem like...
Is it $1.6 million? Is that right? Okay, so 1/16 of his salary. I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought it was $800,000. That's still, it's $100,000 they're fining him. $100,000 because your college kid acted like a moron.
He wasn't even the one he was next to the guy who made the call. He wasn't the one doing the talking.
Right. He's the guy who obviously got the information,
right.
gives the thing. He's on camera. I think he's the kid on camera with the shocked look on his face.
He's laughing
as the whole thing is playing out. Right. So if you're this dad,
how angry are you at your kid?
And we were talking with our boss yesterday about this. It's not like it was some junior high kid. This kid,
he's an adult.
He's an adult.
Yeah.
And your adult son, now, if he's making that amount of money, he's not in a soup line anytime soon.
No.
But $100,000 still stings, and it's all because your loser college kid acted like a moron.
I think what is worse is that the dad's company has to pay this $250,000 fine, and that looks horrible for him as the employee.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So now the bigger issue is these coordinators are already year to year always on thin ice anyway. Unless you have the number 1 defense in the league.
Right.
Your dad could theoretically be like coaching the defensive backs at San Jose State next year because that owner is looking for any reason possible to say, "You out of here, buddy."
Yeah. So he jeopardized his dad's future employment as well. He did put out a statement. The kid said on Friday night, "I made a tremendous mistake."
Yeah, boy, howdy.
Shadur, what I did was completely inexcusable, embarrassing, and shameful. I'm so sorry I took away from your moment. It was selfish and childish. Shadur put out a statement, said, didn't really have no impact on me.
That was his statement? Didn't really have no impact on me.
Didn't really have no impact on me. Because
neither did English class, Casey.
Clearly, because I was just like, okay, I don't feed into negativity or I don't feed into that stuff.
That's like when we tell Kevin he screwed up. That's what he always says to us.
Really didn't have no impact on me.
All right, Ryan Hedrick, the news is next.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
At Puccini's, we think less screen time and more quality mealtime is the better way. Eat, talk, and dine with less blue light glaring or talking heads blaring while enjoying great food at a reasonable price is the Puccini's way. Dine in for hot, delicious food prepared fresh and to your liking. If you need anything, we're right there so you'll leave full and happy. We have delivery options and carryout, but let's start dining in together again the way we all used to enjoy so much.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Federal funding for public broadcasting is being cut. You have a cloudy sky, but a clear radar, 66 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's what's trending at 9:30. President Trump has signed an executive order that will cut funding for PBS and NPR.
The order instructs the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and other federal agencies to cease funding for NPR and PBS and further requires that they work to root out indirect funding sources to the news organizations. President Trump has claimed bias in the broadcaster is reporting. PBS's CEO and President Paula Kerger says Trump's action would disrupt the essential service PBS and other local member stations provide to the American people.
And that's Fox's Chris DeMeo reporting. The first leg of the Triple Crown is this Saturday, and the favorite to win it all this year is a horse named Journalism, who just won the Santa Anita Derby. Other favorites at the Starting Gate, Sovereignty, and Sandman. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. All three major indices this morning are up. The Dow up 475 to 40,752.96. The S&P is up 69 and a quarter to 5904.14. And the NASDAQ is up 234 and three quarters to 19,786.71. I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 317-516-6861 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. 317-516-6861 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 317-516-6861 for fast, easy, affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 317-516-6861.
I'm a proud owner of B-Window.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
When you work with a local, employee-owned home improvement company like B-Window, quality comes first because your home improvements are a reflection of our business. And for a limited time, we're extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust local, trust employee-owned, trust your home to be.
Trust me.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's Rob for my friends at We Grow Hair Indy. You know the Indy 500 is coming up. Lots of hats out there. For me, I say why wear a hat when I have hair, thanks to my friends at We Grow Hair Indy. Call my friends at We Grow Hair Indy for your free evaluation today at 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com to see how other people have been able to ditch their hats and get their confidence back with a brand new head of hair. Get your hairline back, whether it's multi-unit hair grafting or their Artist Robotic FUE. We Grow Hair Indy has every proven solution to restore your hair. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com right now to get a free evaluation. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call today, 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. And tell them Rob sent you.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
I've got bad news, Casey.
What's that?
Looks like McDonald's and Subway are in trouble.
Yeah, both of them.
That's not good.
Yeah, McDonald's sales have dropped 3.6%. It's their worst U.S. decline since the pandemic.
Okay, and then on top of that, by the way, did you know Subway there's more Subways than Starbucks or McDonald's?
Yeah, I saw that.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, you don't really think about it. You think it's going to be McDonald's, right?
Right.
Yeah, one on every corner.
All right, and there's an article that came out of KTLA in California about all the Subways that have closed down. And so these two things sort of ride together. We got McDonald's profits are down. You've got Subways closing. And they're really tied to the same issue, which is, one, unpredictability in the marketplace, and two, people being able to no longer able to afford what was the business blueprint of both of these places for many years. Subway's super expensive now.
Yeah.
If you remember, Subway used to be the $5 footlong, right? You could go in there and you get yourself a meatball sub for $5.
It's now almost $7, right?
Well, I was thinking about this driving in, about how I remember as a kid, not even a kid, I remember when I was in my early 20s, if I heard somebody made $100,000, I thought, wow, that person's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they're living in, a jumbo home or anything like that. But that person's living a pretty good existence, probably saving money, taking some vacations, disposable income.
Sure.
Nice car. If you're making $100,000 a year 20 years ago. Now, you hear the phrase $100,000, and that's a very middle-class existence.
Yeah.
On $100,000, even if you have two, parents or a husband and wife both making that amount of money, that's not a lot of money anymore. And then you see with things like this, I mean, you're looking at like a lot of these subs at Subway are $10, $11 now.
Yeah, you think about that. That could be somebody's hourly rate.
Well, right. And so then you come back to McDonald's and this is what's really concerning because if McDonald's is getting too pricey for people, which is what Wish TV had a big article about this, about the fall in profits for McDonald's. If McDonald's is getting too pricey for people, where else is there to turn?
I think it's a little bit of a combination. It's probably the price factor, and also people are a little more discerning on what they're eating. Like if you're going to pay that much, don't you want it to be a little better than pink meat?
But the problem is
stale bun.
The better is now
Even more expensive. Well, that's one of the things that Subway is saying, that if people have a choice between getting this sandwich or that sandwich and the other one's maybe $1 or $2 more, but the quality is so much better, they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go for a higher priced one because it is a better sandwich.
Forgot to tell you, I got to say thanks to our buddy James. James is a longtime, very avid listener. He sent me Arby's coupons in the mail yesterday.
Really?
Which we're going to time out perfectly. James, and this is totally my fault, Casey. James runs a company called Stink Eye Barbecue.
Okay.
And they make barbecue sauce.
Sure.
He sent all of us a box with barbecue sauce in it.
Nice.
I took it home.
Of course.
And so Monday I will bring back the box because you and Kevin have barbecue sauce from Stink Eye Barbecue. But I did want to say thank you to James for the barbecue sauce and most importantly, the Arby's coupons. But that's the point. It's like I've told this when I use those coupons at Arby's, it's like $4 or $5 difference in what the price of the meal would be. Well, you think about if you add that up at every place over the course of a week, that's $30.
Yeah.
That's or $25 or whatever. That's a lot of money.
So if there's $1 or $2 price difference and you could go to a fast casual and sit down, enjoy your meal versus the Subway where you order it in line, the Subway is saying more people are finding they'd rather go to the fast casual, pay a few bucks more and sit down.
And so all of this comes back to, and anytime we say anything critical of Trump, there's a whole bunch of people out there that just lose their minds. But listen, this is getting unsustainable. The price of stuff is outpacing wages. And when this happens, you're diluting the buying power of the American public. Now, I'm not saying some of these tariffs and correcting a trade imbalance is not a good idea. I'm not saying that. But what's currently going on under the president, if you look at both the reconciliation spending plan he's proposing and these tariffs that he's imposing, is spending, the money printing factory is going to continue, which drives prices up. That's inflation, right? We're $37 trillion in debt. The current spending plan at best adds $4 or $5 trillion to the nation's debt. So you're cooking the price of everything there.
The big, beautiful bill.
And you're causing everything that's coming into the country to be more expensive. Oh, and it's harder to get as well. So that thing is driving prices up. And when you put them together, you are continuing to spike the price of everything. If Trump had come out as part of this tariff deal and said, I am calling for a balanced budget from the federal government. I am calling for, adjusted for inflation, that we return to 1998 spending levels, which would actually solve. That's how simple this would be. If you said 1998 spending levels, they've done the math on this. I think it was Mike Lee and Rand Paul did the math on this. If you spent, not in 1998 dollars, but just in 1998 levels, so adjusted for inflation, whatever the thing costs in 1998, that's how much the government has grown. Our economy is so much more powerful than it was in 1998, 27 years ago. Dang, I'm old. Doesn't that seem like that was yesterday?
Welcome to the club.
Like that seriously seems like that was yesterday. But if you just return to 1998 spending levels in terms of what we funded as a government, adjusted that for inflation, the economy is so powerful that it would take care of itself and you would be able to balance the federal budget. But we have so invested the public in these legalized vote buying schemes, and they think they're entitled to this stuff, that no politician wants to take this on. So you look at what's going on in this country and you go, when is somebody going to have an honest conversation? When is the president going to stand up and go, we gotta admit somebody's going to feel some pain here? Nobody wants to do that.
No, because they want to continue to win elections, because they want to stay in the position that they are. One of the things that McDonald's said is working for them is the promotional tie-ins that they've been doing, like with the Minecraft movie. And Subway said the Minecraft movie.
What's that?
It's a movie that's been out, Minecraft.
Like the game? Is it like the it was a computer game, right?
Yeah. There was a movie out.
Do they even have computer games
very,
anymore?
very popular movie, Rob.
Is it a thing?
McDonald's did a promotional tie-in with them.
When was this?
It's like now.
Oh, it's going on right now. Why don't go to the movies? How would I know that?
It's true. And Subway is doing their cross promotion with Doritos, a brand where they're putting the Doritos on the sandwich and everything.
They're putting Doritos on the subs.
Yeah, gives your sandwich a crunch, right? And they say that those things are working very well for them, so you'll continue to see more of that. But there are other brands too, like Chipotle and the Yum brands. They say that they're seeing their sales decline as well.
Oh, see, Ethan said in the YouTube chat, Ethan Hatcher, Saturday Night in the Circle, it's a movie about a game, a very bad movie. I saw it on Wednesday. See, so what was I missing by not knowing about it, right?
Did he do the chicken thing?
The what?
There's some chicken. People yell out chicken.
What are you even saying, woman?
In the Minecraft movie.
You disrupt everybody in the theater by just shouting things out?
Yeah, because there's this character who rides a chicken, and people are bringing chickens into the movie theater.
All right. Well, anyway, that was an uplifting segment. What are we doing next?
We got to talk about Hulk Hogan and his appearance on Fox and Friends.
People are losing their mind over Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's Beer Sample Friday. We got the biggest stories in Indy. And did we mention it's Beer Sample Friday? Let's go!
Nothing better than taking the family out to a midsummer baseball game out at Victory Field. And my friends at AAA Hoosier Motor Club can help deliver on some big-time savings. They're partners with the Indianapolis Indians and sponsors of their fabulous Friday night fireworks. And if you're an Indians fan and a AAA member, you get all sorts of perks. $4 off tickets to all home games, plus 10% concessions and Indians Pro Shop discounts.
Yeah, going to Victory Field, always fun. Same with going on a vacation. And AAA members, you save when you have a membership. You get discounts on hotels, rental cars, and even complimentary travel planning. Plus, if you run into trouble out on the road, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas. AAA is there 24/7, 365, no matter where your travels take you. Join AAA today. Visit AAA.com, call 844-GO, AAA-GO, or stop by your local AAA office.
My name's Craig Landers. I'm a union laborer for Look 120, and I'm a member of the Veteran Steering Committee and been retired for 7 years.
For members of the Laborers International Union of North America, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community.
I like to help veterans and family downtown. Part of the building burnt down that housed the veterans that lived there. So we donated money to help out. They lost everything they had. I mean, they didn't have much, but they lost what they did have.
When the Indy community needs help, LIUNA steps up.
People bring in clothes and shoes and food. We had a couple of car shows and donated the proceeds to the Veteran Suicide Prevention.
This is Chris Bricky, Business Manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
Pretty good to help them guys out. That's a good feeling to help people out.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
Wondering when to plant grass seed for ideal results? Wondering who has the best lawn products? Well, now is the time, and great lawn starts with Jonathan Green products. Hey, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. And like Sullivan Hardware and Garden, Jonathan Green is a family-owned and operated business. Jonathan Green has only premium quality Black Beauty grass seed, soil foods, and fertilizers to ensure that you achieve noticeably better results on your lawn. By making your work easier and delivering an impressive lawn, Jonathan Green products will turn your lawn into a green space to be enjoyed with family and friends. Black Beauty seed mixtures are sold at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Improve your lawn with Jonathan Green. Shop, play, experience. Spring with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
The news everyone's talking about, you'll find it at WIBC.com. The latest from City Hall, the White House, or the State House. Updated all day. Don't miss what matters. Stay in the know while you're on the go at WIBC and WIBC.com.
I don't understand why people are all worried about Hulk Hogan now.
Because he looked a little interesting on his appearance on Fox and Friends.
Yeah, but I don't feel like that's for anybody. By the way, it's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. people are like up in arms. Daily Mail had a big article about this. So Hulk Hogan was on Fox and Friends.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan's 71, by the way.
Yes,
Not that makes you with one foot in the grave, another on a banana peel, but like he's not, 35 years old anymore.
Correct.
He's on Fox and Friends. He's starting some new freestyle wrestling league.
It's called Real American Freestyle Wrestling. It's a league that's going to feature single match events.
So freestyle wrestling, for those of you who don't know, freestyle wrestling is a form of competitive wrestling, like not WWF wrestling or I'm sorry now.
Yeah.
It's always WWF to me, Casey.
Right, sure.
WWE wrestling, where the matches are scripted. It's like legitimate competitive wrestling. It's different from what you would see in high school wrestling. There's more moves allowed, freestyle, hence the name. But what is not clear on this is this going to be like a real thing, or is this now freestyle, but it's scripted? It wasn't made clear to me. Anyway, doesn't matter. He's on promoting this thing. He's also got that Real American beer. And look, Hulk Hogan basically now is the world's greatest will travel. I mean, you show him some Casherino, he'll, Kev.
He'll show up.
Hulk Hogan, if you could write the check, might even be the hype man for Uno Gold at this point, your fabulous band. I mean, that's where he's at this phase of existence.
Yeah, it's either him or Mega Mondo.
That's right, yes. And so, he just show him a check, he'll promote your thing. So this is the thing he's doing. But he's on Fox and Friends, and people are like basically putting him on death's door. And as someone who has seen this guy many times, I don't understand what they're all upset about.
Okay, well, I think the thing that people were concerned about was that he looked a little weathered, and his usual beard or goatee, it was dyed black on his cheeks.
Yeah.
And that contrasted the white goatee.
And see, this
that
is
he had, so it was just an interesting look.
Well, this is where people don't know history. So the reason he did that, to promote this wrestling thing, this freestyle thing, he did promos on the internet, announcements that were a tribute back to when Hulk Hogan was a bad guy in the late 90s and early 2000s, when he was in what they called the New World Order, right? That was a huge, at the height of pro wrestling, when wrestling was at its biggest, and he was the biggest star. He was a bad guy, right? And part of the gimmick then was that he had the white mustache, but the dyed black beard around the mustache. So, at 70, it doesn't look as good as it looked at 45, but that was what he was doing that for. And look, Hulk Hogan has lived a pretty traumatic life. I think he's had like 100 surgeries or something that. I mean, just maybe not quite that many, but I mean, it is a staggering number of surgeries. He has literally lost 5 or 6 inches off of his height because of all the back surgeries, the fusions. I mean, he's been pretty candid about his substance issues. I think he talked about he'd had suicidal, thoughts at many points. Like obviously the thing with his marriage was a traumatic thing. His son spent time in prison. He's lived a life. Now, dude, this is one thing I would say. You're 71 years old. Stop with the bandana and the sunglasses and the Bermuda shorts and the fanny pack, dude. You're 71 years old. But other than that to me just looks like Hulk Hogan. I do not see what the big deal is with people.
So he was wearing a T-shirt that said "America First, Beer Second," of course, promoting his brand. But he was rambling a little bit during the interview, and that's where people were getting a little concerned. And I think, you know what, he's been dealing with a lot of family drama publicly, and that's going to take a toll on you as well.
Think about this, though, and the 80s are really unlike any other decade in which if you left a lasting impact in the 1980s, you are still revered as some sort of superhero today. Like Mr. T, for example. Mr. T was a one-trick pony, but if you put him at some sort of Comic-Con or something today,
people are going to line up.
People will line up to get Mr. T. There's something about the 1980s, and I think it was because of the condition of the country. It was like a resurgence of America. Reagan was the president. You started feeling good about yourselves again, coming out of the doldrums of the 1970s. And so for people who were around for that, and if you were able to be
some sort of icon, unlike the 1990s. Like, who remembers who were the icons in the 1990s? It just doesn't exist like it did with the 1980s. And Hulk Hogan, as goofy as it sounds,
he was one of those people.
He was really a tippy-top guy because pro wrestling was so popular. He was tied in with MTV and Cyndi Lauper and obviously Mr. T and those guys. And so he, even though he hasn't been relevant in well over 20 years, he can still go make a gajillion dollars and be on these TV shows, and people will watch it. And I think it really is a testament to how revered and what a great time people remember the 1980s as being.
So he's got this Real American Freestyle Wrestling that he's promoting, new sports venture. At what point does he say, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy my life?
He likes money, Casey. It will never be done. It'll never be done. Hulk Hogan, the amount of money, this came out. I don't know if it was in his divorce or what.
Which one?
Well, that's right. He has now been divorced multiple times. His first wife that most people know, Linda Hogan, the amount of money that he had made and lost in his life, it was a staggering amount of money. Like, not that he was pleading poverty, like a soup line type of thing, but that all those financials came out about how little money I think that he actually had. He had stuff, but in terms of like liquid cash, I'm trying to remember all of this. And it was shocking, given the amount of money that he made in his life, how little he actually had given what he had
Does
made.
he still have that place in Clearwater?
I don't know. I haven't called him in a while. You want me to call him up and ask him how he's doing?
Yeah, I do.
What are we doing next? What's going on? No, by the way, next hour, we got so many phone calls yesterday. We're going to do 2 segments of phone calls, right?
Yeah, we did. We got a lot of good phone calls we're going to get to. He has announced his reelection.
Oh, no. Whoever that is, that's not good.
Your Secretary of State.
Oh, well, boy, howdy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Diego Morales coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Denny Smith here for Miss M's Home and Garden in Bargersville and Sundown Gardens in Westfield. May has arrived and Mother's Day is approaching. Spring flowers are on full display. You just have to see the selection. Miss M's Home and Garden and Sundown Gardens are fully stocked with great annuals, trees, shrubs, decor, and more. Get an early jump on Mother's Day. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield, sundown.gardens.com. Miss M's Home and Garden on State Road 135 in Bargersville, missmshomeandgarden.com.
Hi, Jeff Roush for Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Navigator MSRP 105,575, Nautilus MSRP 6195, Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers good through May 31st, 2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Spring is here, and Dammons is full speed ahead with endless plant production of perennials, annuals, hanging baskets, roses, and planters. Trucks are arriving with fresh trees and shrubs. Dammons' friendly staff is ready to assist you and get you the help you need. So for any of your gardening needs, experience Dammons South on Emerson Avenue and Dammons West on Rockville Road.
Dammons Lawn and Garden, Indiana's most complete garden center.
This Cinco de Mayo, make it Hiatus Tequila. Smooth, flavorful, and crafted for those who appreciate the finer things in life.
Hiatus Tequila. Ask for it at your favorite liquor store. Must be 21 to purchase.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, a bill regarding immigration has been signed into law in Indiana. A Hamilton County family says they're getting some relief after dealing with heartbreak. You'll hear what that is and what you can do if you were impacted by recent storms. Those stories and more after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
More hiring sends stocks higher. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Dow up about 350 points reacting to this.
Job growth was stronger than forecast in April. There were 177,000 new jobs created. The unemployment rate held steady at 4.2%. More people were in the workforce last month. The labor force participation rate rose to 62.6. The only disappointing reading was that March job creation was revised down from 228,000 to 185,000.
Fox's Ginny Casola, White House Council of Economic Advisors Chairman Stephen Moran just told Fox.
That's the second month in a row that President Trump beat Jobs Day expectations. And in fact, not only that, but these numbers come from after the president's historic actions on April 2nd.
And so when the president announced more tariffs on more imports, the Democrats say will tank the economy. Now, the president posted on Truth Social, employment is strong. There's no inflation, and he again called for the Federal Reserve to make an interest rate cut at its meeting next week. Last night, President Trump addressed the class of 2025 at the University of Alabama, saying they're graduating into a golden age.
Everybody should believe in the American dream. It's real, it's there, and it's right before you.
The president also posted on Truth Social this morning he's going to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status after the university sued to try to get federal funding back, taken away by the Trump administration, which claims Harvard allowed anti-Semitism on campus in anti-Israel protests. Today, President Trump will send his budget proposal to Congress, where Republicans are already working on what he calls one big, beautiful budget bill. Fox's Ryan Schmelz reports.
The budget resolution includes President Trump's priorities on taxes, border, national security, and energy. Republicans are currently having conversations about expanding Medicaid work requirements to help find over $1.5 trillion in spending cuts.
Now, Democrats warn of big cuts to Medicaid, food assistance, and other key programs. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Where he's putting pen to paper. Mostly cloudy and 66 on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Indiana's Governor Mike Braun has signed a bill into law requiring law enforcement to notify Immigration and Customs Enforcement if they believe a suspect is in the country illegally. It mandates jails and detention facilities to inform police if they have probable cause that a suspect arrested for a felony or a misdemeanor is not here legally. It goes into effect July 1st. A teenager's in custody for killing former Hamilton Southeastern football player Mason Alexander.
That's according to Alexander's family. Alexander was killed on March 1st in a crash on Florida Road near Geist Park at 113th Street. The family says the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office told them about the detainment.
That's Wish TV's Phil Sanchez reporting. $3.25 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says Gas Buddy. That's up 21 cents from where it was this time on Monday. If you've been impacted during specific severe storms and a mine collapse this year, you can apply for help from the State Disaster Relief Fund. That's according to an announcement from the Indiana Department of Homeland Security on Thursday. Anyone impacted by storms on March 15th, March 19th, or March 30th through April 2nd, as well as people in the Warwick County town of Chandler, where a mine collapsed, damaged, or destroyed more than a dozen homes on March 1st, can all apply online. The Decorators Show House continues at the Baxter House in Indianapolis on Pennsylvania Street this weekend. Cheryl Smith is one of the organizers of it.
The French Normandy architecture is just second to none. It's beautiful. Think turrets, think Juliet balconies where they used to have a string quartet play back in the day.
It raises money for Eskenazi Health, and it runs through May 11th. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 10:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Tamara and Nigel for Window Nation. May is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Beat the heat and keep the AC in your home with Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you'll get 60% off and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows. Plus, no money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027.
That's a lot of savings and a super smart investment. So how exactly do they keep prices affordable? Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in this country. Windows assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale. It ends soon, so do not miss your chance to get 60% off and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows. Plus, you don't pay anything until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County Spring Nursery headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Hey, Casey, question.
What's that, Rob?
Did we ever figure out what Diego Morales did for those 10 days in India or who paid for it?
He was there on an economic development trip, Rob, but no, we don't know who paid for it.
Now, wait a second. How could he have been there on an economic development trip when he doesn't have any economic development responsibilities?
Well, you know, that's just the way Diego rolls, I guess.
So let's just kind of recap this, and I think most people are aware. The Indiana Secretary of State, Diego Morales, disappeared to India for 10. He disappeared, then we found out he was in India. Nobody knew where he was for 10 days. He blew off his obligation to appear in front of the, I believe it was the Senate at this point, for his budget. And then he claimed he was, once it was found out he was in India, that he was on an economic development trip, which everybody said, well, wait a second, your job as Secretary of State has zero economic development statutory responsibilities, duties, whatever. Then people started saying, well, because they found out this guy Raju Shinthala was there with him. Raju was on Facebook bragging about selling access to what was EB-5 visas. Is that right?
Correct.
For what was, I think it was $800,000. And so everybody said, well, that's kind of odd. And then it came out that Raju has a big contract with Diego's office.
Correct.
So you're in India with the guy with the contract with your office who's bragging on Facebook that he's selling visa access. A lot of red flags here. Hey, who paid for your trip? And they said, kiss both of our butt cheeks. So nobody knows who paid for this trip, what Diego did there, or who he was actually hanging out with other than these public posts that have been made. Oh, by the way, according to IndyStar, we also know that Diego met with the mayor of the place that Raju said he was going to be selling the EB-5 visa access.
Sure.
So we do know that.
Yeah.
And so we, of course, asked all these questions. They told us kick rocks. I have now taken a complaint to the Inspector General. They said, we'll look into it. Who knows what's going to come of that. But nobody in the state government, not Braun, not Rokita. Heck, Rokita's partnering up with Diego. And I thought Rokita was supposed to be the law and order guy. I thought Rokita was Mr. Billy Badass. I get to the bottom and fight for everything. Well, of course, I guess unless Diego has donors that are same as Rokita's donors, and then Rokita wouldn't want any part of that, right? I mean,
yeah.
And same thing with Braun. This guy big timed you. Now, look, the truce doesn't apply to anything but the property tax issue.
Got it.
That's right. So I'm about to do some elder abuse here, Casey.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you're Braun, this guy sticks both of his middle fingers right in your face, says, I realize you're in charge of economic development.
But I'm going to do this thing.
And I'm going. And Braun does nothing about it.
He said he may have overstepped his boundaries.
So again, unless Braun knows where Diego went and who he was with, and unless the same people who were helping fund Diego's trips were big donors to Braun, why would you allow this guy to show you up?
Well, we do know that has happened in the past, that some of those donors have donated to all of their campaigns.
Well, I think this is becoming what people are thinking has gone on here and why nobody will challenge him. That they know who funded the trip. That they know and they won't say because there's money tied in either directly or indirectly from the people that paid for that trip and whatever Diego did over there that are contributing to these politicians. Casey, that is the only logical explanation at this point that not only the governor, the attorney general, Micah, Daniel Elliott, all of these people are around this guy, Elise Nishala, the entire Indiana General Assembly, and not one person will demand to know publicly who paid for this guy to disappear to India for 10 days?
Or they do know, and they're not saying.
Well, that's my point. That's what I'm saying, Casey.
Yeah.
That is the only logical reason that you would not be outraged if you're the people in the House and Senate. He no-showed. He showed you zero respect. And what they do, they said, here's money for your office. Go on.
Okay, so you got the trip to India. You have the car.
No. Yeah,
You're not off of that?
No, I'm not done with this.
Okay.
No, you're the voice of reason here. What other explanation could there be if you're any of the people that I have just named, either the 150 members of the General Assembly, certainly people that are on the tax and budget writing committees in the House and Senate, the way he behaved and then didn't show up, if you're any of these statewide like Rokita or Braun, unless you know who these people are, but you don't want to say anything because they give to you as well.
Right.
What other logical explanation is there at this point to allow this guy to treat everyone in the manner in which he does? Okay,
That's
good.
where I am.
Okay, that's the path we're heading down now. Great. Okay, very good. Now continue. Sorry.
Well, there's not only the trip to India, there's the car, the $90,000 car.
Yes, he actually has he has the $91,000 car, which is why Micah Beckwith is so mad when we're mean to Diego, because Diego's car is why Micah's car made it into the news. See, that's why Micah's mad and won't challenge Diego, because Micah and Diego are now linked together because they both did the same thing.
In this car
That's
soup.
right.
You also have the nepotism in the hiring practices within the Secretary of State's office.
Hired his brother-in-law and then gave him
for
a
a six-figure salary.
Gave him a big bonus. Yeah.
You've got these excessive and unregulated bonus payments
That's
that
right.
he gave to his staff, right? You've got the question on the no-bid contracts.
So what you mean by that is Diego handed out, I believe these were contracts, correct me if I'm wrong, over $1 million in some cases, without bidding them out, without getting multiple companies to come in and say, here's what we would do it for, and then pick the lowest, most responsible bidder.
With the Clean Slate Technology and the MTX Group, who, by the way, donated to his campaign.
Right. And so then these people, after getting these big no-bid contracts, gave huge money to his reelection campaign. Yes. Okay, very good.
You've got complaints over his self-promotion. Look at the maps of the state of Indiana.
Saw one in person.
Yeah, saw one in person.
So on almost all of Diego's stuff, like he puts his name and logo on things. So it's the equivalent of frank mailing, right? Where he's using taxpayer money to campaign. He's figured out a way to legally use taxpayer money to campaign for himself. Yes.
You also have questions about his past employment, also his resume discrepancies.
Yes. Now remember when he came in here when he was running for Secretary of State. We said, well, like, tell us what you do. Can you imagine? Think about what people pay to be on WIBC. The amount of money. This is how valuable advertising here is. That month in and month out, people pay huge amounts of money to advertise on WIBC. He claims to what was some staffing company, right? That he was a owner in, and we gave you a freebie, and we're like, tell us about what you do, and he didn't really want to promote that company. Like, I own Acme Staffing, and if you need everything from a maid to a mechanic, you call us, and here's the phone. No, he didn't want any part of that. Everything of, and don't forget, he voted when he ran for Congress in 2018. He somehow voted in a county different from where he took his homestead credit.
Right, he voted in Hendricks County.
Though his homestead credit, I believe, was in Marion
County.
Everything about this guy is shady. Everything about this guy is sketchy, and yet the Republican Party, from Braun to Micah to Rokita to Bray to Houston, stand there with their thumb up their backside and go, Yeah, that is kind of weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't anybody do something about this guy?
So you've got also his questionable elevation of his military experience.
Uh-huh.
All of these things, right?
So he often will use a photograph of him in a military uniform, but multiple people, and present himself as some sort of veteran, but multiple people that I have talked to have said that is complete crap, that he didn't go through stuff, he didn't serve, blah, blah, blah. There was a very short period he was there, and there are people who are super pissed off that he uses that military photo. Now, I don't know the full extent to it, but I've talked to multiple people that are super pissed from the military that he uses that photo.
Okay, well, yesterday, guess what? He announced his 2026 re-election campaign.
Uh-huh. Oh, he's running again.
He's running again.
Oh, how exciting.
Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Here we go.
Diego Morales is fighting for secure elections, a thriving economy, and a state that puts Hoosiers
Pause.
first.
Why is he fighting for a thriving economy? That's not his job.
He's trying to answer the question of what he was doing in India.
Your job, Diego, your job is to be an administrator on everything from elections to business and all points in between. You are an administrator of the will of the General Assembly and the governor's office. That's it. That is your job. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's protecting your rights, your investments, and your future.
My investment? What? That's Daniel Elliott's job.
Exactly.
Diego wants every job but the job he has. Go ahead.
There is still work to do, but together we will continue to build an Indiana where everyone can succeed, where our elections are secure, and where Hoosiers come first. I humbly ask for your support. I'm Diego Morales, and I approve this message.
Okay, so here's the deal. Everybody knows Evan Bayh's son is probably going to run for Secretary of State, and Diego's going to have challenges at the convention on the Republican side. Bo Bayh, Democrat. We're going to actually have somebody on next week who's going to make their announcement, Casey, that they're challenging Diego at the convention, who's very, very qualified and would be very good at this position. But and I'm saying this right now, what is the date today?
May 2nd.
May 2nd, 10/16, May the 2nd. I'm saying this right now. If Diego Morales is the Secretary of State nominee for the Indiana Republican Party, I will do everything, and I mean everything in my power to ensure that he does not win that election. And we are not talking this time about supporting some libertarian who has zero chance of winning. So you take that for what you want it to be. This guy is a disgrace. He is a total fraudster. He is corrupt. He is gross. And the fact, you know what's more gross is all of these people down the street from us know exactly what he is, and nobody will say a word about it.
Nope.
Why?
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
First 100 days.
A revolution of common sense. 25% tariffs on foreign aluminum and steel. It's keeping our steel mills going.
He's acting like a king.
Hear the news.
The Indiana Pacers delivered in a big way. Here comes Halliburton. He lays it in!
Fought back to win the game in overtime.
As events happen,
10th person identified.
we'll happen to be there.
Serial killer Herb Baumeister.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Promises made, promises kept. Governor Mike Braun's bold leadership is already getting things done for Hoosiers. Governor Braun and State House Republicans are delivering massive property tax cuts. We're talking nearly $1.5 billion in relief. That's real money back in homeowners' pockets. But Braun didn't stop there. He cut local income tax capacity by nearly $2 billion and capped the local income tax rate to protect Hoosiers. And Braun led the fight to reform local government taxes, giving Hoosiers more say by requiring referendums be held in high-turnout elections. Thanks to Governor Braun and State House Republicans, your property taxes will be lower. Future increases are reined in, and the system is now more transparent. Visit HoosierHope.org and let Governor Braun and Republican legislators know you support historic property tax cuts. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails.
Okay, we got so many phone calls. You said they were good phone calls. We're going to do 2 segments of voicemail. I got to do a disclaimer here first, okay?
Okay.
All right. I am not an extension of your local county assessor's office. Okay? Right? Like, this is what happens with every part of my existence. Like, you try to help a few friends out, give some advice on the radio, and then it's just nonstop people asking me about their assessments. Again, I am James Earl Jones in Field of Dreams. I don't know. I've tried to help immediate friends and family as best I can. The system, I'm going to say this as slowly as I can. The system is broken because what people are finding is they're calling, as we said to do, and the county assessors are telling them, you're probably right. There's probably something here. I'm too backed up. It's going to take X amount of time for me to even get to your thing.
Right.
And people are telling me that, what do you want me to do about it? I've been screaming about this for 15 years. The whole system is broken. There is too many people who have their thing too screwed up for these assessors, given their budget, to deal with everybody at once. I get it. I know. I'm trying in a horrible system to give you advice on how to possibly save you a year of your life. And now they're telling some of these people, hey, it'll be a month before I can look at your thing.
Right.
Well, but what if it's screwed up? Well, it probably is. Well, no, it'll be a month because I've got all these people in front of me. Yes, I know. This is why I've been screaming about this for years.
Right.
So I'm not trying to be unsympathetic to people, but at some point it's just like, what? Like
Here's what
I'm the giving tree, Casey. I'm a stump. I'm a stump.
Here's what you need to say. I understand. I'm doing the best I can.
Like I have some sway over any of this. Like I have my next question when somebody calls or emails me about their assessment is going to be, did you vote for your current state rep or senator? If the answer is yes,
well,
there's your problem.
Yeah.
Because these guys know what's going on and they're fine with it.
I understand. I'm doing the best I
They're
can.
fine with the county assessor taking all the blame. They're fine with all of it. They have created the system that is screwed up. They are the ones who just as recent as a week ago had an opportunity to do something about it. They did nothing. the governor, the lieutenant governor. They had an opportunity to do something about it. They did nothing. It's all the people at 200 West Washington. I'd reached my up. Like, I can't.
Are you at the top of the mountain?
Like when we passed person 133, I just was like, again.
Well, I mean, that's, you're accessible.
Yes, but again, I wish we had that scene queued up where Kevin Costner asked James Earl Jones what he wants.
What do you want?
And he just goes
off.
No,
what do you want?
About wanting to be left on. Anyway, okay, voicemail. Sorry, but seriously, like, I appreciate all of our listeners, and I'm trying to help everyone that I can, and it's just. Like, I'm not getting paid anything for this. I'm doing this because I like you people.
Right.
But I have no say over any of it.
317-684-8444. That is the phone number. And here's our first phone call.
So this one's for Casey. All the attention is on Rob and Micah. But how awkward are things of the Casey household right now? Poor Casey has to sit next to Rob while he tears down Micah all day long, and then she has to go home and share the boudoir with the one man who's supposed to be building up Micah and making all his dumb mistakes look good. Just curious, inquiring minds would like to know.
Casey?
Oh, the cortisol level is pumping hard right now. Rob, how often do I come over to your house and have a cocktail?
Yeah.
A little bit more frequently lately? You know what? It's all about compartmentalizing, right?
Right.
You got to be able to do that. You got to be able to turn it off and focus on other things besides work constantly.
And I had this conversation with some guy last night. And I said, he goes, I don't appreciate the way you're treating Micah. And I said, you mean like every other politician?
Right.
Like, we cover him the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
Because that's what he is. And if he would stop taking his foot and jamming it down his own throat, we wouldn't have anything to really talk about. He wants the attention.
Well, to Jim's credit, he always says, you got to do what you got to do. That's your job. And I know that he has to do what he has to do. That's his job. But you know what? I am going to say one thing, too. Somebody commented in the YouTube channel that I was throwing up softballs to Micah because I got used to the big salary that the dude's getting.
The big salary.
He took a pay cut for that job. Pay cut for that job. So... Don't come at me that I'm throwing up softballs. I'm doing that because we need a balance on the show. Rob goes hard enough in the paint. Somebody needs to bring the lighter side to things. Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time the dude and I have competed against each other.
Right, you worked for different radio companies.
We did. We worked for different radio companies, and we learned how to manage that 30 years ago. All right, let's move on to another phone call. This one about the Secretary of State.
Rob, if you would do me a favor and stay on that Secretary of State deal, what's his name? Diego Morales, or is it Diablo Morales? Please stay on that, because somebody's got to come up with some answers here, mainly from him. And just keep doing what you got to do. And thanks, man. See you.
I got a project for you if you're willing to accept it.
Sure.
Because, I just keep saying things, and then I told somebody this yesterday. They were asking about the show, and they said, well, Casey does all the work. And I said, no. I said, no, she does. Like,
what do you need?
We need to do that show from outside Diego's office.
Oh, you want?
So I need you to call Department of Administration and get the paperwork started on that, because I keep talking about it, and then I just won't ever do it.
Right.
So can you do that?
I'll do that if you talk to the bosses.
Perfect. Deal.
You get the engineering set up here within the station.
That's fine.
And I'll get it set up.
I can handle that. I need you to take the administrative side of things. That's no problem. See that? Okay, very good. All right, one more phone call before the news.
Okay, this one is about the Kentucky Derby, which is this weekend.
Wow, $220 for just a general admission to the Kentucky Derby. Our paddock seats in the main straightaway we've had in years past at the Speedway are a bargain compared to that. Granted, you got to pay for parking, and there's a few other little things that you have to factor in. But still, the Annapolis Motor Speedway, great spectacle in racing. and to a certain extent, a great bargain.
Yeah, I was looking to see how much the infield, the standing room only tickets at the Kentucky Derby were going for now, but looks like there's a wait list.
I bet
that must mean they're sold out.
That's Southside Tom, one of our great listeners. Tom really should write a book because Tom really knows the history of the city and has lots of experience. Tom, that is my challenge to you. I want you to write a book.
You're passing out jobs for everybody.
Yes, that's right.
today.
Everybody but myself.
All right, we've got more phone calls we'll get to coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
Summer heat is coming. Will your air conditioner be ready? Don't risk an expensive breakdown. A quick tune-up from B&W catches problems early and keeps your family cool and comfortable. Join thousands of Hoosiers who trust B&W. Call 317-214-0108 or go to bplusw.com today.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
I was driving to my sister's house, and it happened just like that. The guy apparently had been on the phone and just wasn't paying attention. I got 2 bars and 6 screws in my neck now. For the 6-day hospital stay and the 2 surgeries was over $300,000. I just had my husband call Hensley right away. They took care of everything. It definitely happens. So just hire Hensley.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why he's urging action. It's mostly cloudy and 67 degrees in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:30. You've been hearing about President Trump wanting to cut unnecessary spending from the federal government to save you money. Indiana Republican Senator Jim Banks tells Fox's Laura Ingraham that Congress is moving much too slow to get that done.
Every day that we waste and we don't pass a rescissions package to make this stuff permanent and save these tax dollars to put that money back in the pockets of hardworking Americans is a day that we're missing the boat.
He says one thing he's tired of is seeing money go to other countries on things like electric vehicles in Rwanda, for example. A tsunami warning is in effect for Chile after an earthquake off the South American coast. The USGS says it had a magnitude of 7.4, and it happened just before 9 o'clock. The April jobs report is out, and it's better than most analysts were expecting, and the unemployment rate held steady at 4.2%. Stocks are up on Wall Street this morning. The Dow is up almost 500 points. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I'm a proud owner of B-Window.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
When you work with a local, employee-owned home improvement company like B-Window, quality comes first because your home improvements are a reflection of our business. And for a limited time, we're extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust local, trust employee-owned, trust your home to be.
Trust me. High-quality fine jewelry doesn't have to come with a high price tag. PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg, they're changing the game with prices up to 70% lower than what you're going to find in those big-name jewelry stores or even those strip mall jewelry stores. They have brand-name watches, stunning fine jewelry, and even custom designs, something Mom would like for Mother's Day. Browse their expanded selection in the charming setting of an 1888 farmhouse. Why would you pay more when you can get the best for less? Visit PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg. Check them out online, pajewelers.jewelry. Their phone number, 317-456-4010.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Mother's Day is almost here. Miss M's Home and Garden is fully stocked with high-quality annuals, trees, shrubs, decor, and more. State Road 135 in Bargersville.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
It's a double shot of your voicemails. 317-684-8444, Friday edition. We like hearing from you, so let's get to it. This phone call is about property taxes, somebody living in a donut county.
Hi, my name is Betty. I live in one of the donut counties around Marion County. I am calling as I'm just disgusted, though not surprised, with the work that our legislature and governor have done, particularly around property taxes. I think that maybe you need to start an effort throughout Indiana, and that's every county in Indiana, to start recruiting good candidates to primary every one of the members of the current legislature, including Braun. Make it a grassroots effort as opposed to big money. You know, I'm tired of seeing the same candidates running for public office every election, and usually there is never anyone to run against them in the primary. The only way this is ever going to change and we get what we want is to primary every one of these people out. We can talk a big game about we need to change, but unless we make the effort to get people to run against them, it's never going to happen. Thank you.
She's right. Mm-hmm. However, I am not the person for this. I'm out on that. No more. I am Randy Quaid at the end of Independence Day. Hello, boys. I'm back. Mm-hmm. I'm the kamikaze mission pilot at this point. So no more endorsing. No more. I mean, every time I do this, people say all the right things, and then I get screwed on the back end of this. So no more endorsing. We will talk about people who are running, people that we're interested in. We'll allow them to talk about what they're doing, but Micah and Braun were the end of it for me. So I'm going to sit over here and do what I do, which is seek, kill, and destroy politically as many of these people as I possibly can. But other people, absolutely. Absolutely. This is the key. If you vote for these incumbents, everybody basically not named, Haggard or Ireland or, Mike Young, they're just going to keep screwing you. How many times do they have to do it? If you vote for an incumbent other than those select group of people, they're going to screw you.
She made a couple comments. She said it's got to be a grassroots effort. Well, that's the only way you can go up against the big money.
You're right.
And she said, I'm sick of seeing the same names. Well, it's because that's where the money's tied to.
If you can get, you're not going to flip the General Assembly in one election. It's not going to happen. There's too many of them and they get too much money. But if you could get 10 people across the House and Senate, that would send shockwaves through the Indiana State House. If you got 10 with the 10 or so that are there right now who are pretty decent, then you got 20. And you could start making a real difference. And if you get 10 more in, the problem is the 10 that are decent, a lot of them don't have a ballular area, and they're not willing to stand up. And then they just you don't get any resistance, right? So you got to get, which is not that many. There's, I think, 120 or so between the House, 125, I think, that are up for re-election next year between the House and Senate. 10 is nothing. It's 1 out of every 12 of these people. It's not, but you got to organize, you got to fundraise, you got to do the thing. But no, don't call me anymore. I'm done with that. I'm on a seek, kill, destroy mission at this point.
Here's a phone call. This one is about Governor Braun.
Hey guys, I was listening to you talk about Braun and his comments to Beckman, or whoever Becky is. I just wanted to say that maybe Braun should follow his own advice when it comes to speaking out of turn after he promised us some results with the property taxes, etc. Oh, and by the way, I think I'll get into the market for a crow's costume, and the next time I find out where old Braun's talking, the guy that wanted us to show up for his a vote for him, but not to be there for his little speech yesterday, we get a crow costume and we can heckle and jekyll and ridicule his butt. Have a good day.
I like his passion.
Mm-hmm. That is a good point, though. He was, saying that Micah Beckwith was speaking out of turn, and he should watch what he says when, hey, Pot, this is Kendall, you're black. He did the same thing.
Well, remember, Braun did it twice as a senator on big things. The qualified immunity thing where he got depantsed by Tucker, And then the marriage thing, where he basically walked himself into saying that he tried to backpedal out of it, but the states should be able to regulate if black and white people could get married. Look, we have said we're not doing elder abuse until 5 p.m. on Friday. We've called a ceasefire with Braun, so I'm not going to go too deep into this. But, yes, that person makes a very good point.
Here's a phone call. This one is about Curtis Hill, who joined us the other day.
Governor Braun has essentially snuffed out his own fuse and won't be available for the next term. How do we get Mr. Hill to run again? I just heard your interview. He sounds so articulate and informed and intelligent, and sounds like somebody we could really use. So how do we get that to happen?
Am I supposed to answer that?
He tried, right?
Well, he's been running.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't fundraise. You got to raise money. Look, I was talking with somebody about this yesterday, and I agree with a lot of Curtis's stuff politically. He's a great orator of conservatism. This is part of the reason I wanted Curtis come on yesterday is Micah will not stop talking on social media. And clearly, the people in Micah's immediate orbit, excluding your husband, don't actually love him because they won't tell him what he needs to hear. They're on the gravy train brigade at this point, because if they love Micah, they will tell him what he needs to hear, not just kiss his butt and tell him what he wants to hear because they like their jobs. And at this point, Micah needs somebody to take the cellular telephone away from him. Micah needs to have somebody who can get through to him to tell him, stop fighting with James Briggs on social media. Stop acting like you're a victim. Stop acting like it's just liberals who are mad at you, whether it's the car or the 3/5 compromise thing. Micah's done all this to himself, and it's not just the left who's out to get him, and you're not a victim. And there is nobody who is more conservative or articulates conservatism better than Curtis Hill. You notice Micah shut up about that now since Curtis came on our show. You notice you haven't heard of people about how it's just the left out to get him. Micah needs some tough love because Micah had an opportunity, and still does, to be a very important part of reforming state government. But clearly Micah is either he is getting it from some people, he's ignoring it from those people. But the people who actually have the ability to reach Micah are putting themselves and their own interests ahead of doing what's right, which is stopping him and saving him from himself and telling him what he needs to hear. So my goal yesterday, and it seems to have worked at least in some capacity, now go ahead and say Curtis is super left, Micah. Go ahead and say Curtis is a part of the conspiracy. If that worked, if that accomplished that yesterday, then great. I'm glad it did, because somebody's got to save this guy from himself.
I liked what Curtis had to say as well. I agree with that phone call. He sounded really good. Here's we got to get to these two back to back, and then Hammer's going to join us. And these are both about the lieutenant governor.
Hey, Rob, Casey, this is Indiana Joe down in Texas. I just happened to hear your interview with the lieutenant governor. Two comments. He was very insistent to you that you should absolutely know beyond a doubt that politicians lie to you. And he, in fact, himself is a politician. So when he's telling you he's lying to you, believe him. Secondarily, I've heard too many false prophets and good feel-good pastors. We have some here in Texas, Joel Osteen, that stand up there and tell you beyond all certainty that God is on their side. Well, right then and there, I know they're headed down the wrong path, because we as Christians should not be asking if God is on our side. We should be asking if we're on God's side, and that will totally change your perspective, and you'll come down with that narcissistic view of, I know God's on my side.
Okay, and here's this phone call. This is someone who's coming to Micah's defense.
I appreciate your time, and I just want you to know that I think Micah did a great job on your interview today, and at the end of the day, he has a point that you got to fight the fight you can win and don't totally burn the bridge. Now, I am a staunch conservative, as you guys know by now, and I don't like it one damn bit the way they did this. But I spoke to Micah a little bit ago, one-on-one. He actually took my call, and I listened to the whole show. And if he's got me convinced, that's a big step, because I don't believe anything any of them SOBs tell us, and I'm not including Micah in the SOB. It's the rest of them, the legislature and the people that are just stealing our money. But I think he has a point that you do have to take the fights that you can win long term. If the governor was going to be out of office this year, it would be different. If he was going to be done in 3 weeks, it'd be different. But in this case, they have 3 more years at least to fight for us in some capacity.
Okay, I know we're running along here. I'm sure Hammer will be fine with it. I want to address the first guy's phone call. Mm-hmm. Nobody should ever doubt. Look, I'm not happy with Micah, and he's not happy with me in a professional standpoint. That's fine. But nobody should ever doubt Micah's dedication and commitment to the Lord and bringing people to the Lord. Okay, he is a phenomenal pastor. He has done phenomenally great things for countless people's lives. Many, many people have their jobs right now because he was willing to step out on a limb and sign religious exemptions and fight for them. So whether we're happy with Micah professionally or not, nobody should ever, 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 ever doubt Micah's passion and fire for the Lord and the sincerity with which he does that. Okay, so I wanted just to address that. Okay, do you have another year for your home? Do you have another year when your bill goes up another 10%? Do you have another $1,000 to give? That's what people are pissed off about. We don't have that time. We're not willing to wait another year. If Braun had a plan, he would have said it. And when Micah starts going into the thing about when I said, well, he could have not signed the bill, and then he's like, well, the schools and the medicine, and people are like, you sound like a total leftist when you're saying that. So you're fine with the federal government shutting down, which I've heard Micah say that before. Oh, but when it's the state government, because what you wouldn't want, first of all, they'll override the veto anyway. And this is what Braun and Micah don't get. It was the symbolism of the fight.
Yes.
It was the symbolism of the fight, which would have encouraged people to stay engaged, because then you would say, and why do we have to explain this to everyone? And this is what I've figured out with Micah. He's incredibly articulate. He's a great debater. He sucks at messaging, and he sucks at understanding the media. And clearly he's not listening to people who are trying to help him with that, because he blows it every time. That's what this was about. It's the same reason as the car. The $87,000 in terms of a $46 billion budget, which what he's saying is a drop in the bucket. But you lost the moral high ground to criticize other people. And it's the same thing as this. Yes, if Braun vetoes that and it gets overridden, fine. But it gives people hope. And then when you, Micah, and you, Braun, come out and say, we got to get 20 of these guys out of here next year, and name the name, people would storm the Bastille for you.
People don't believe you now. When you say we're going to continue to fight, we don't believe you now.
People are not motivated to engage in the process. They believe the process doesn't matter. They believe you'll screw them at the end anyway. I cannot believe I have to explain these things out loud to you guys, not you guys, the listeners, but people like Mike Braun and Micah Beckwith, of why people are so deflated and dejected, and why would they engage again? All you had to do, and this was the last thing I said to Braun, and I begged him, just veto this bill, let the chips fall where they may, and people are going to love you in the process.
Yes, absolutely. Hammer's going to join us next on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's Beer Sample Friday. We got the biggest stories in Indy. And did we mention it's Beer Sample Friday? Let's go!
Pierce Jewelers has a beautiful, warm, and friendly showroom, and their showcase of estate jewelry is constantly changing. They're always purchasing and looking for new, old treasures, and your fine jewelry may be worth more than you think. The staff at Pierce Jewelers, a trusted name since 1968, will help you understand and evaluate your memorable pieces, and they'll make sure you receive superb service and expert counsel. They'll guide you through the process, explain each piece, and why the item's value is a certain amount. No appointment needed, but there are times they'll need to take in your items to further examine and evaluate them. Pierce Jewelers doesn't charge for this process, nor is there any requirement for you to sell your items. Pierce Jewelers will make sure you receive a competitive price for your valuables, and you'll walk away knowing you've received their best and honest offer. Call Pierce Jewelers today at 317-574-3333 to learn more about selling your jewelry and other valuable precious items.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SAND25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SAND25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SAND25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The WIBC mashup is everything you love, from fiery debates to laugh out loud takes, all in one podcast. No weak sauce, just the best of the day each weekday. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Backstreet's back, all right. Hammer joins us from the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show. Hello.
Hello, and have you made the executive decision about whether or not you're going down to Churchill Downs this weekend?
You want to come? You want to ride? You want to ride with? Let's
Maybe.
go. Let's bet on some horses.
I'm down. We did that on the podcast yesterday, Degenerates Next Door.
Who'd you pick?
Well, I am not a horse racing guy, so I defer to our expert. If you want to hear his pick, go to Degenerates Next Door podcast. Also this afternoon, joining us at 3:20, friend of the show and the co-leader for all-time celebrity beer bong, Racing Rachel.
Rachel's back.
Yes, Horseshoe Casino Indy. She's calling us from Churchill Downs. She's
Nice.
at the Oaks, part of the handicap group, so we'll get her pick as well.
Nice.
Now, to get everybody in the mood for the Run for the Roses, a tradition unlike any other is this classic Hammer and Nigel record song that we put together, inspired by a classic hit from Poison.
And down the country come in the Kentucky Derby.
It's our first Derby. We drove down after work yesterday, so we're running on about 4 hours of sleep. I snuck whiskey in my bra earlier, an entire bottle. So, I mean, anything goes after that.
You know I've never seen a race like this. Come on.
Surrounded by Kentucky hicks. But I like it.
Yeah.
Woo! And I know you like it too. We're drinking so much booze.
Come on, baby, let's go.
We'll be in Kentucky. Come on. Down at Churchill Downs. Drinking mint juleps. Until we pass out on the ground. Wear your big hat and make a big bet. And baby, talk derby to me.
There it is.
Very nice.
I snuck whiskey in my bra earlier, an entire bottle.
There it is.
One of the great Hammer and Nigel records, Billboard top 20, no doubt. Now I'd ask Kevin. I don't know if he can do this fast. You know, there are other great songs about the Kentucky Derby. Kev, do you have it? Are you ready? You know, there are other great songs written about the Kentucky Derby, and I just wanted you to compare and contrast that mega hit that you just played with my favorite song from the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
It's Dan Fogelberg's Run for the Roses.
Okay. Kevin, you can stop already. I'm going to say no. The words Fogelberg came out of your mouth right
Wrote a
there.
song about the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I'm good. Hey, let's talk. No, Kev, we're done.
Just give it a second. You might like it.
Time's a factor, and I got to get these clips in. We got 2 minutes left here, and I want to talk about how bad Cleveland is. Pacers play Cleveland this weekend in the playoffs. Everybody is, fondling themselves over the Cavs. Oh, they're so good. The number 1 seed. They're going to sweep the Pacers. Cleveland's a heavy favorite, but you know what? I think the Pacers got a chance here, and even if they don't, let's just make fun of the city of Cleveland because it's a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Here's the world-famous Cleveland tourism song.
Fun times in Cleveland today. Cleveland. Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Come and look at both of our buildings. Buy some food that's prepared near the street. Watch the poor people all wait for buses. Cleveland leads the nation in drifters. See our river that catches on fire.
Yes.
Don't slow down in East Cleveland or you'll die. Buy a house for the price of a VCR. Our main export is crippling depression. Cleveland!
A couple years back in a playoff series, then Chicago Bulls player Joakim Noah ticked off the people near the Mistake by the Lake by ripping on their city.
I don't know about this place, man. I just stayed in my hotel room, man. Every time I look out my window, it's pretty depressing out here, man. It's bad. It's bad.
So you're not going out?
No going out in Cleveland, man. It's all factories.
Do you regret anything that you said about Cleveland?
Not at all. You like it? You think Cleveland's cool? I mean, I never heard anybody say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation. I mean, what's so good about Cleveland?
And last but certainly not least, Rob, I think this one will appeal to you. Here with a little ditty about Cleveland, Ohio, The Rock.
The Rock says Cleveland is totally lame. How did this dump get the Hall of Fame? The Rock has to say, all shucks. 'Cause Cleveland doesn't rock, no, it totally sucks. I said now Cleveland.
It's Cleveland tribute history. There you go. This afternoon, again, Beer Sample Friday. Let's have a good time, man. Feels like it's been a long week. It's May in Indy. Let's drink so much that we can't feel feelings anymore. We got Racing Rachel. We're going to do some barguments on the show.
Nice.
And let's get after it.
I'd like to hear my song now, Kevin. Just cue the music since Hammer said he's done.
He can't even handle it. He's leaving.
Yeah,
Thank you, Hammer.
He's leaving. We'll do whatever we want. It's our show. Put it up.
It's Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Wait, that's not my song.
I'm sorry. I couldn't do
it. You love spring and Indy, so don't spend it painting. Do what your neighbor Mike did. He called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
The process with Rhino Shield and their crew, they were just very conscientious. We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
Way better than paint, backed by a 25-year warranty. Right now, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
The thing about Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Don Fisher here for QC Kinetics. I want to share with you the best thing I've done for my knee pain. I've been hearing commercials about the groundbreaking treatments that QC Kinetics offers for months. Meantime, my chronic knee pain had hit an all-time high threshold. I wanted to stay active and enjoy playing golf again without the pain. So I decided to call and book an appointment. And what I found out was that QC Kinetics is the non-surgical solution. I have no knee pain and feel like I did 10 years ago. And it's all because of the non-invasive therapy from QC Kinetics.
Discover the solution to joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. For a free consultation, call 463-282-6886.
I'm back to playing golf and enjoying life. Take it from me, this is the best call you can make to relieve your orthopedic pain.
For your free consultation, call QC Kinetics today. 463-282-6886. 463-282-6886.
Spring is here, and Dammons is full speed ahead with endless plant production of perennials, annuals, hanging baskets, roses, and planters. Trucks are arriving with fresh trees and shrubs. Dammons' friendly staff is ready to assist you and get you the help you need. So for any of your gardening needs, experience Dammons South on Emerson Avenue and Dammons West on Rockville Road.
Dammons Lawn and Garden, Indiana's most complete garden center.
Need air conditioning service and want to work with a local company you can trust like B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical? Find that independent American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, which bill Indiana Governor Mike Braun signed into law this week, what you might want to know about your ID, especially if you're planning on flying anytime soon, and if you like mushrooms, then you might like this event. Those stories and much more headed your way after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, it's 11 o'clock.
A better job market means a better stock market. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Dow up 450 points. The Nasdaq's gaining 230 after more hiring than expected in April. 177,000 jobs created. The unemployment rate stayed the same at 4.2%. The chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Stephen Moran, says that after new tariffs were announced a month ago,
where the president acted to put American workers and firms first for the first time in decades and try and put them on a level playing field with our foreign competitors by reciprocal tariffs.
But Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal says those tariffs and an ongoing trade war with China
will do grave, lasting, and perhaps irreparable damage to our economy in the short run, sliding us toward a recession.
But President Trump posted on Truth Social this morning, employment is strong and there's no inflation. He again called for an interest rate cut, something the Federal Reserve will consider at a two-day meeting next week. In another Trump post, the president escalates a feud with the university, saying he'll take away Harvard's tax-exempt status, and it's what they deserve.
Over anti-Israel protests and admissions programs. Harvard is fighting the Trump administration over more than $2 billion in federal grants being frozen. The administration is also looking at limiting Harvard's ability to enroll international students.
And Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. We're getting more information about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador in March, leading to a court fight that has the Trump administration resisting efforts to bring him back, insisting he is a gang member.
Tennessee Highway Patrol troopers pulled Kilmar Abrego Garcia over for speeding in November 2022. There were 8 other people in the car. Abrego Garcia told authorities they were traveling from Houston to Maryland for construction work, but there was no luggage in the car and they all gave the same home address as Abrego Garcia, which led police to believe that this was a human trafficking incident. Abrego Garcia, however, was not charged.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A bill he wanted, and now he signed. It's cloudy and 67 degrees in downtown Indy. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:02. You probably heard Hoosier political leaders talk about a bill that would require law enforcement to work with immigration and customs enforcement.
The bill was finally signed into law this week by Governor Braun. I'm Ryan Hedrick. What the bill does is it makes it mandatory for people who run jails like sheriffs across the state to contact ICE if the person they're holding is charged with a felony or a misdemeanor, and they have probable cause to believe that that person is in the country illegally. The bill was changed to remove language that requires police who arrest those people to contact ICE. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A teenage driver involved in a fatal crash with former Hamilton Southeastern High School football player Mason Alexander has been taken into custody. The incident happened on March 1st when the driver's BMW swerved into the northbound lane, causing a collision with Alexander's vehicle. Both vehicles went off the road, with the BMW crashing into a tree and catching on fire. Alexander is a cornerback, or was a cornerback, for the University of Pittsburgh's football team and was killed in the crash. The Real ID deadline is approaching. Johnette Cruz reports.
Time is running out. Starting Tuesday, May 7th, a Real ID will be required to pass through airport security and enter federal buildings nationwide. This new security standard stemming from the 9/11 Commission means your current Indiana driver's license might not cut it anymore. Indiana began offering Real IDs back in 2010, and finally over 80% of state licenses are already compliant. Look for a star in the upper right corner of your ID, and that's your confirmation. Don't have one? Head to indy.gov to get the full details. Johnette Cruz, WIBC Mobile News.
$3.25 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says Gas Buddy. One station in Indianapolis is selling it for $2.75. Hayes Arboretum in Richmond is having their spring mushroom program this weekend. Jenny Lee is a naturalist at the Arboretum.
We are bringing in Dr. Dunn Ruck, and he's led these programs for almost 2 decades now. Then him and myself will lead a hike.
She says you won't be able to collect the mushrooms, but on the hike, she'll help you learn about all the mushrooms and how to identify them. It runs from 10 to noon on Saturday, and tickets for adults are $5. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 11:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Hello, my name is Nate Clancy. I'm with Labor's Local 120. I've been with Labor's Local 120 for over 40 years now.
For members of Labor's International Union of North America, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community, like helping the Soapbox Derby.
We painted the bridge. The Wilkershaw Bridge is an iconic bridge for the Soapbox Derby. It's been there forever. It was, needing work.
When Indy or surrounding communities need help, LIUNA steps up.
Members that went over there, we seen that it was needing work, power washed, done the painting, just anything that was needed, and it looks amazing now.
This is Chris Bricky, business manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
Here at the local, I like volunteering in the community. Just every little bit helps. I really got a real joy in doing that.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Miss M's Home and Garden, Johnson County's spring nursery headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
All right, Casey, it's our last hour of the week. And so I'm going to give you a dealer's choice. We have 2 topics to get to in this segment.
Okay.
They're both very important.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let you choose which door you want to open first. Again, both of these things we're about to talk about are very important. They will, no doubt, in many ways, influence our audience's lives and raise their intellect as they roll into the weekend.
Fantastic.
Topic 1 is important but bad news.
Oh.
Important. And topic 2 is important but interesting analysis.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get to both of them. You choose which one we're going to go through first.
Let's get to the bad news first.
All right. So the bad news. This relates to the property tax bill. Now, we're not going to rip on Braun because we have the ceasefire till Monday at 5 p.m., giving him, if you're new to the program or haven't heard, we are giving the governor one last chance.
Yeah.
Against all of our better judgment, but we want to be able to look our audience in the eye and say we exhausted all possible resources to try to save the governor,
from himself.
From himself, yes. And we do believe at this point, based on the Politburo press conference that Braun had the other day, that he is now a victim of elder abuse, and somebody's got to stand up for the governor. So we're going to do it. So we're giving Braun till 5 p.m. Monday to acknowledge what everybody knows, that this bill sucks, everybody hates it, and that he's going to call a special session for the express purpose of repealing this bill, which they can. Bills don't become law until July 1st in Indiana.
Yep.
And it'll be, hey, just a waste of everybody's time, but no harm, no foul, and then we're going to start over, right? So we're giving him until 5 p.m. without the criticism on the property tax bill. But there was an interesting article that came out in the about the property tax bill by Evan McMahon, who is the chairman of the Libertarian Party in Indiana. And it talked about a variety of things. I'm not going to go into all of them, but one of the things that he mentioned, if you live in a rural area, you need to be very aware of what's about to take place. And I had not even thought about this until I read this piece. And when he said it, it was like, boy, howdy, is that true? So what this bill does is it encourages local governments to raise income tax, and it puts the onus on income tax earners rather than property, or it starts shifting towards that. So you will end up paying more through the income tax. However, if you think about in a property tax, if you annex a property into town, so annexation is a way by which towns or cities bring unincorporated areas into their communities.
Right.
If you annex a property into town, a home, it's not much, especially individual homes, there's not much financial gain to the community, the town, the city, because that property tax gets divided amongst all the entities, right? The school, the city, town, the county, etc. You become a very little bitty sliver of that pie, and then you have to provide service to the area. So it's not that big of a financial benefit, neighborhoods, et cetera, unless you've got, multi-million-dollar homes or jumbo homes, as the governor would describe them, to do that. However, so oftentimes rural, unincorporated areas, especially that are neighbors. Now, undeveloped areas, different story, because they see what it could be. They see the commercial development potential, et cetera. But it's very rare that you see neighborhoods, densely populated neighborhoods, get annexed into communities, especially not sizable homes. However, under this new bill, in which local governments will be able to now for the first time take income tax from people,
right?
They will now be encouraged to bring as many people into their community as possible because they will be able to get their income tax.
So the bill says that any town or city with at least 3,500 residents now authorized to impose these income taxes, right? So
yeah, that's correct.
What it's doing then is you're saying this new taxing power will incentivize annexations?
That's correct, because they'll want the income tax. And
they'll want more people in.
And unlike where they're sharing with property taxes with the schools and everybody else, that income tax that they impose will stay directly with that community.
Right.
So you are incentivizing the very thing that the legislature just a couple years ago, the legislature gutted annexation laws because they said, well, these cities and towns are being predators. They're going in and they're taking these areas, and we got to do something about that. Now, keep in mind, they just wrote a law this year that allowed this town of Plainfield to annex into Liberty Township, which it didn't have contiguity to because they won a massive golf course that may host a championship golf tournament there. But that's beside the point. But it's another example of course, nobody reads anything or there's no history understanding in that building whatsoever. But the General Assembly doing the exact opposite of what they said just a couple of years ago. But I read that, I thought, boy, that is brilliant, and we got to talk about that if you live in an unincorporated area, especially that is remotely close to an existing city or town, they are coming for you because they'll want that income tax.
They want you part of the city, right? Annexation you back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about the other thing. Matt Hiblin and I, he says he's not our boss, but I think he is our boss. Is he our boss?
He's our immediate supervisor.
When he doesn't want to deal with us, he always says, I'm not your boss. But the power structure. I mean, he'll say, I'm Kevin's boss because he handles the producers.
Sure.
But he's management.
Yeah.
So I think he's our boss, except when he doesn't want to deal with us. And he's like, I'm not your boss.
Were you talking to him just recently?
I talked about it all the time.
Okay.
I just walk around the halls during the commercial break. And we were talking about, this was actually a day or so ago, but he said something that I thought was really interesting. And we were talking about how quickly with Micah and with Mike Braun, how the public has turned on them.
Right.
And he made a great point.
That did happen fast.
It did. And I don't think anybody that hears our voice doesn't think they didn't deserve it. I mean, because they didn't hold up their end of the bargain on what they promised to do in order to have the support of this audience. And we were talking about that, and Matt Hibblin, our boss, made a good point. He said politicians are a lot like, bless you, politicians are a lot like a new car, bless you.
No matter how much
how much you're trying to distract me, Casey, I'm not going to let you distract me from this
Sneezing.
thought. No, what he said was, when you drive a car off the lot, you get what? Depreciation.
Right. It happens quickly.
It happens very quickly.
The second you drive it off.
Because the car becomes the thing and now you've bought it. And you're right. Then to get to your point, buyer's remorse. Because the car, when the car dealer is selling you the car salesman is selling you the car, they're building this thing up to be larger than life, right? And you get into believing in that thing. And then you buy the car and you drive it off the lot. And the moment you do it, the depreciation hits.
Yeah.
And that's a lot like the way our politicians are, in the sense of Braun, with Micah, made promises that he's now admitted, like in that state affairs piece, he never intended to keep. I think he thought he would get a lot more than he got, but he freely admitted, I made you a promise that I never intended to keep. And the depreciation that is taking place now on both Mike Braun and Micah Beckwith, because we looked at the bright, it's funny we're talking about cars because of Micah, but it was the brand new car, and our audience believed, boy, this is going to be an awesome ride. This is going to be a great thing. And we bought into it, and we drove it off the lot, and it wasn't what we expected.
And then you start questioning everything about it.
Right. And I just thought that was such a great way to sort of kind of capture what people are feeling right now. And what's going on is Braun and Beckwith are depreciating in value.
Wait a minute. Well, Braun's a classic, though, right? Braun's not a new car.
Well, but the way he was talking was new. It was so much different than Holcomb. I think people were so desperate to move on from Holcomb. Here's the problem Braun has, though. And that problem is that Holcomb didn't need us. By us, I mean our listeners to succeed. Because Holcomb from the beginning said, I hate you people. And I'm going to govern in a manner that with the crony capitalism and the big government and the expansion of social programs, that enough liberals will like me. And he did the Heisman stiff arm to Trump, that it doesn't matter. And we saw that in the election. All those people protest voted for rainwater, and it didn't make any difference because enough Democrats liked Holcomb that he more than made up for it with those Democrats. Braun can't do that because Braun is joined at the hip with Trump. Braun is hated by the left. And if Braun loses us, he's lost us. If he doesn't get us back, which listen to us, Braun. How many times do we have to tell you we have the secret sauce on how to make this happen? And right now your only chance is to call that special session. That is it. But he doesn't have the ability to offset losing us again because the left will not come to him. He will not be able to make up for it with losing the WIBC listener base.
Yeah, I don't. What are the chances? He's not going to do it. I don't think he's going to do it.
Oh, I agree with you, but I'm going to exhaust every avenue possible until 5 p.m. Friday to give him one more chance to do it because I don't want to see him fail. I don't want to see our state fail. I don't want to see Micah fail. Nobody's been a bigger cheerleader for those guys than me because I saw the importance of them succeeding, but they have failed. And if they go the next 8 months without fixing this issue, it's going to be an unmitigated disaster for them.
In a long 3 years.
And going to these these events, these fairs, these festivals, that's your game plan? I mean, that's what Micah rolled out the other day.
Just surround themselves by political insiders.
Right. And you're not going to address the issue. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought Matt had a great insight on that about how it very much is like buying a new car and driving it off the lot. So anyway, you chose wisely. I know you had no real win there of interesting or super bad, but you did the best you could, and it was good radio.
We do have a few more phone calls.
Oh, how great.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
it's coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
When you wake up.
You understand this is about money. 1,000%. They started this.
When you work.
As long as the category was all Bruce Springsteen all the time.
I told you I think I could win a game of Jeopardy. I could not go on a run.
When you drive home.
Is it time to try something new, you think? Because it hasn't worked, and maybe try something new.
Traffic when you need it.
Stopped on 465 again.
And updates all the time.
I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go.
Stay in the know wherever you go with 93 WIBC.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
And it's a run for the roses.
Just let that bad boy roll, Cab. I hope Hammer's listening.
Your fate is delivered.
It's the greatest song ever written about the Kentucky Derby.
You think so?
How many songs are actually written about the Kentucky Derby?
In a lifetime of chance, and it's high time you joined in the dance.
It's the chance of a lifetime in a lifetime of chance. Man, I miss Dan Fogelberg. Anyway, sorry. What were we doing? What's going on?
We've got some more phone calls we can get to.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, this first
I mean,
one.
isn't that great? It's a chance of a lifetime in a lifetime of chance.
Mhm.
That's just...
Are you going to be placing a bet on the Derby?
Yeah, I'm going to bet on Kenny, our pro handicapper for Degenerates Next Door. He had a pick. You got to go. If you'd like to hear Kenny's pick, we give it away for free on the show. Just Degenerates Next Door. You can, wherever you get your podcast. Kenny's got a pick. I know nothing
You're
about
just going to
horse
follow
racing.
his lead then?
There's what is it? So Nikki Kelly had texted me. We were messaging back and forth, and
She's out in Vegas.
Yeah, well, she's in Vegas, and so apparently there is a course named Journalism and a horse named Publisher.
Correct.
And she's like, who
Which
do I bet on?
Journalism is 3-1, and I believe Publisher is 20-1.
So Journalism is a heavy favorite.
Yeah, Journalism is the heavy favorite. I believe Journalism has won already 3 big races of the season.
Now, I will tease you with this if you want to get the pick from Kenny Britt. He did not take Journalism or Publisher on the show. So
Okay.
If you'd like to go after we're done here, we don't care what you do during Cats. You can Degenerates Next Door, get a free pick for the Kentucky Derby.
What's the name of the jockey? He's like 58, 59 years old.
How would I know?
Mike, is his last name Jones? Is that right? It's Mike's.
Why are you asking me? I know nothing
Well,
about
he's
horse racing.
racing Rodriguez, and
The horse's name is Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think that's a Bob Baffert horse. He's going to be back in the Derby. You know, he
got expelled or
he got
suspended?
expelled,
or,
right.
What was that for? Was that cheating?
Wasn't it for... steroids or something?
Well, that would be
Horse?
cheating.
Yeah.
I think that is cheating.
Yeah.
Is that why you got kicked out?
I believe so.
If you had a horse, what would you name it?
Oh, wow. I never thought about that.
You never thought about that?
No.
Kev, if you had a horse in the Kentucky Derby, what would you name it?
I'd probably just name it Kev. That's the best name I can possibly think of.
And Kev's coming around the outside.
It's representation.
Uh-huh.
What would you name it? Any idea?
I have no idea. It would, I don't know. It would have to do something with media, probably.
Yeah.
You know, Segway or something like that.
I would name my horse F Property Taxes. Can you imagine them to call? And it's down the straightaway. F Property Taxes has the lead.
The long shot.
You sure you wouldn't name it Fogelberg? That's another good one.
I just would love. Can you imagine? Is it ESPN, ABC? Is that where the Kentucky Derby runs?
I think it's NBC this year.
NBC. Okay. Can you imagine on NBC hearing some announcer shout
F Property Taxes. Buy a nose. We're gonna have to go to the clock for that one. Sure.
Because like what they used to say with adult film stars, it was your middle name and the street you grew up on. Wasn't that your adult film star name?
Something like that, or your first pet, or it was something in there as well. That's how you come up with your horse name. Sure. Okay, somebody wants to know about the budget that the legislature passed.
Is there anywhere that when they're doing the budget that they show what they've cut from the budget? Is there a list of things that they actually remove from the budget that are no longer needed, no longer useful, or is a waste of our money and needs to be stopped? I don't ever hear a list of that. It always seems like we add to the budget. So if you could please let me know if we can find that somewhere to at least discuss what they've removed from the budget to save us some money.
Well, just contact your favorite Democrat and they'll tell you.
Oh, lady, you and your drugs. No, I'm kidding. It will happen via amendments in real time, but at 2 a.m, who's watching it or understands any of it? They don't even understand any of it, they being the lawmakers. Capitol Chronicle actually had an article that was pretty good about high-level stuff that got taken out and stuff that got put back in. But no, I mean, you can read the budget. It's 221 pages. And now a couple years ago, it's been many years ago now, when I did those, I think it may be time for us to do another video.
Okay.
Because when I was doing those Where Did Your Money Go videos, I forget what the number was. I challenged myself to see if I could find $15 million in savings in 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it was, and I was able to do it. So maybe I'll do that again just by literally reading the budget and going through. God, that sounds boring. I mean, the video was wildly entertaining, but I had to actually read the budget. And I timed myself. Once I got through you got to get through all the mumbo jumbo nonsense appendixes and whatever. Once I actually got to the budget, I think I was able to literally timed myself to see if I could find it in real time in 3 or 4 minutes or whatever.
And you were able to find how much? 15?
I forget what the number was. It's been 8 years or so since I did those videos, but I was able to find a sizable amount, millions and millions of dollars in real time, and then do a video on it. So maybe this weekend for fun, I'll see how fast I can.
For fun.
I mean, if I got a few down.
Yeah, in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah. So no. You, unless you follow the meeting minutes or the videos or whatever, no, you would not know that.
Here's another phone call. This one is about owning a house.
Yeah, if someone was to come out of college and buy a house and they just bought it, let's say cash, and completely paid it off, and if they lived there the rest of their life, they would pay more in taxes than they ever paid for that house. How is that not robbery, and how do the people not be able to sue for this? Because that's mafia-type stuff. Literally, if you buy a house cash or even pay it off, you live in it and you live a long, healthy life, you're going to be paying way more in taxes than you ever paid for the house. Could you imagine if that was on a vehicle or anything else in your life?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? You don't do this with any other piece of property that you own. You do that with your couch, continually pay for it year after year.
Right. It's unrealized capital gains, which they called Kamala Harris a Marxist for. The Republicans in this state called her all the things which they should have, because she proposed taxing unrealized capital gains on Wall Street. They're doing the same thing here. This is why when you see these people out, your state reps and senators, walk right up to them and call them a Marxist. Don't, seriously. Just say you are a Marxist. And don't be nice about it. Now, be legal about it. Don't do anything to get yourself in trouble. But say it. That's exactly what they are. Because that's what they called Kamala Harris. Ask them why they're a Marxist. I hope on Monday somebody asks Mike Braun at that event we're going to, why are you a Marxist?
Somebody? Anybody?
Wait. Is that a violation of the ceasefire? I was talking about Monday. Maybe he won't have to ask him. Maybe he will have declared the special session by then.
Yeah.
So maybe you won't have to ask him.
Okay.
Anyway.
Here's another phone call.
And every so often in those battles, like Ukraine and Russians or the Palestinians and the Israelis, somebody just briefly violates the ceasefire and then they go back to the thing. So I think that may have been what I did right there.
I think
I launched a rocket somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I apologized and said it won't happen again.
Right. Corrected your behavior. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says you don't have to look very far to find it. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:30. That's what Indiana Republican Senator Jim Banks said on what he calls wasteful government spending.
Transgender operas in Peru and transgender comic books in Colombia, electric vehicles in Rwanda, and Big Bird in Baghdad. I mean, all of that wasteful foreign aid spending.
And Banks is calling for it to stop. He was on Fox's Laura Ingraham's show on Thursday. The legal team for the accused United Healthcare CEO shooter, Luigi Mangione, is trying to have New York State drop murder charges against him. Mangione's team filed a motion arguing that the state case and the federal charges violate the Double Jeopardy Clause and the 14th Amendment Due Process Clause. And today is considered National Brothers and Sisters Day. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy. You know, summer is right around the corner. Spring is here, and it's a great opportunity to get out and about. And when you go out and about this spring and summer, wouldn't you like to do it with a better, fuller head of hair? That's where We Grow Hair Indy comes into the equation. You know, I went there 4.5 years ago. Every time I look in the mirror, so glad that I did. Here's how it works. You call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. Darren and the gang, take a look at what's going on top of your head. They'll give you some suggestions on how to get your confidence back. Then you take it from there. In the meantime, if you'd like to see some other folks who made the choice to head over to We Grow Hair Indy and their results, find them on the web, WeGrowHairIndy.com. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Mother's Day's almost here. Sundown Gardens is fully stocked with high-quality annuals, trees, shrubs, decor, and more. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Doing a nice job today, Kevin. Fabulous. What's going on in the world? What are we doing?
Well, we can expect over 23,000 runners from across the world for the IU Health 500 Festival mini marathon.
Is that
this
tomorrow?
weekend. It is.
How long is a mini marathon? Does it say?
Well, what do you have? You've got, let's see, 13.1 miles for the mini marathon. And then you got the 5K, which is 3.1 miles.
So someone like me who is lazy and old could do 3.1 miles.
You do the 5K.
I could walk it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could walk 3.1
Starts
miles.
at 7 a.m.
No, I couldn't do that. No.
It's going to be downtown. You're going to run right by the JW Marriott.
What's the route? The route?
The start location is the north side of the JW Marriott near West and Washington Streets.
Okay, now this is pretty impressive, right? Like I weigh basically the exact same as my driver's license weight, which has been the same for 20 years.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm like super physically fit, but I'm also getting old, so that's pretty cool that I've maintained basically the same weight. Now I have been as high as 20 pounds higher than I am right now, and I've been 20 pounds lower than I am right now. I've been much more fit at the same weight that I am right now, but I have maintained the same weight, my driver's license weight, for 20 years. That's, I mean, how many people could say that?
Yeah. Me too. Sure. You believe me?
My fitness goals have
why would I lie?
Well, who are you trying to impress at this point? My fitness goals have changed over the years, though. When you're a young single person, you're striving towards interpersonal relations with members of the opposite sex. However, at this point, as a married person and a father, my goal is simply to exercise to keep myself alive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not mincing words. I will not be as fit as I was when I was 25 years old. I just will not be. But if I can maintain a level of fitness for a quality of life, and I've told my wife this, I've said, you're getting about 75% of the commitment I used to have. It's just simply, that's part of marriage. You don't.
Well, those shows aren't going to watch themselves. That Arby's isn't going to. Somebody's got to eat it.
That's human nature, though, right? Single people who are trying to find a partner.
You want to be attractive.
Care more about their appearance, obsess more about their appearance than people who have a.
Get a little comfortable.
Well,
a little doughy.
I'm not letting myself go. I exercise every day, but there was a time in my life where I was exercising 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
Like that's what I did.
Right.
I was also self-employed back then.
Yeah.
I could set my own schedule. Now I got parenting duties. I got work duties. I'm putting an hour plus in a day, but it's like I don't sit around and go, should I have that? Should I have that cheeseburger? Should I? I don't think about that anymore. Like Kevin does. See, Kevin, right now you're on some sort of health kick, right?
Yeah, I try to work out regularly.
And that's what I'm saying. And you're like super, I mean, you've made it 3 days without alcohol or something like that, right? You said?
Yeah, I quit drinking. It's been a long 3 days, but I'm working on it.
I'd asked Kevin, what was it? Oh, it was when we did the thing when we celebrated Ernest T. Bass going to the Pokey, Gabe Whitley.
Right.
And I'd brought that vodka and diet soda in, and I said, would you like a celebrity or a celebratory beverage with us?
Sure.
Right. And then he said, no, I've stopped drinking. And then he's like, no, wait. He's like, well, I had a couple beers over the weekend. I was like, so you've stopped drinking for 2 days? Like,
sometimes it happens.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying you have not. I mean, what's the longest you've ever made it without drinking?
I think during COVID, I stopped for like 3 months.
That's pretty good.
Which, yeah, that was good for me.
I mean, I'm not describing you as a raging alcoholic. I'm just saying, you enjoy a beverage in the evening or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that.
I lived for the weekend for a long time.
That's right. Yeah,
There you
absolutely.
go. Nice.
But when your point is, you as a single person, you have to care about your appearance because you're presenting yourself to
the ladies,
potential
Yeah.
life partners.
Yeah, and I mean, alcohol and junk food and stuff like that, it affects me differently now at this age.
That's
so
right,
I
and
gotta
it'll
cut
get
back
worse,
on
brother.
it.
It'll get worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we even get on?
So-
the marathon.
Yeah. So what are you saying? You couldn't run a marathon at this point? You could do the 5K.
I could walk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could. I bet. No, I could walk the mini marathon. I have no doubt I could walk 13.1 miles. Now, I'm not saying I would set any sort of walking speed record,
Mm-hmm.
but I could do 13.1 miles. Especially if I had you gave me a week to build up to it, I could do it no problem.
You think only a week?
To walk?
Okay. That's going to take a really long time. You could get a medal, a shirt, post-race refreshments as well. That's what the marathon people are going to get.
How long do you think it takes to walk? Like just a normal walk,
That's
1
what I'm
mile?
wondering. To walk, or you're fast walking though. You can
Well,
do
no, I'm walking. I'm going to go like a walk
20
on a walk.
minutes.
Yeah, you could walk. You could walk 3 miles an hour. Yeah, that's definitely. You could definitely do a walk in 20 minutes. Okay, so 3 miles an hour, 4 hours and 20 minutes. That's no problem. I could walk for 4 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I did that last year to the Indy 500.
I mean,
like,
yeah. So if you had some sort of build up to get ready for that, you could. Yeah, that's no. Yeah, I could do that. That's not an issue.
So did you see that Nike Air Force is introducing a new sneaker?
Who?
Nike Air Force. It's it's going to come out on May 7th, but these are pre-dirtied shoes.
Huh?
Yeah, they're already dirty when you buy them. You in on this?
Like
You're
they're
not.
like they're legitimately dirty, or
Yeah.
we're making them look dirty.
No, they're pre-dirtied. The more you wear them, the cleaner they become.
Like somebody rubbed them in dirt before they stick them in a box.
Yep, and they have these scratch-away panels that are going to gradually reveal a cleaner version of the sneaker. So the more you wear them, the cleaner they become.
Why?
It's bizarro world, right?
Why would
it's
someone
backwards.
do this?
Because I have no idea. That's why I'm asking. Would you be into that? Like normally when you get shoes,
Would I be into that?
you don't buy anything new.
Thank you. Well, no, I buy it new. It's just cheap. Kev, this is a you generation thing, right? Why are people doing this?
A lot of people wear white shoes, and yeah, they get dirty easily.
But why would you buy a pair of dirty shoes? Why are the children buying the dirty
I've
shoes?
never even heard of this, but I mean, it seems appealing. You don't have to put effort into cleaning your
No,
shoes.
they become clean, right?
Right, they become clean, and they
Right.
actually come with a little toothbrush.
What's the greatest
to clean them?
What's your favorite pair of shoes you've ever owned?
I
Is there
like
a pair of
the
shoes?
ones I'm wearing right now. My Sambas, they're comfortable.
That's the favorite pair of shoes ever? Like your
Ever.
all-time favorite dress? I'm talking dressy anything. Is there a pair of shoes that stands out to you like, I loved those shoes?
Did have a pair of black heels that they did some walking.
Really? Kev?
I used to have a pair of high-top Nike Blazer shoes in high school. They were like a retro style.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever own any like the high-end
I have 2 pairs of shoes that stand out to me. When I was 8 years old,
some Air Jordans?
my father let me get and stood in line with me to do this, to get the Larry Johnsons that had the gel. That was when Larry Johnson was at his tippy top, the Hornets, all that stuff. I got the Larry Johnsons. Those were awesome because they had the gel in the shoes. And then in junior high, I had the Dennis Rodmans, which were freaking awesome. They tied up from the side. They were my all-time favorite shoes. I would love to have them again. Someone stole them from me at basketball practice in junior high school, and I would never recovered. You want to know why I'm the way I am? Because somebody stole my Dennis Rodmans in 7th grade. They were freaking awesome, Casey. Look them up. I bet if you look them up right now, you will be able to see. If you look up 1997 Dennis Rodmans, 1997 Dennis Rodman shoes, you will see
Were
them.
they expensive?
Oh, well, I mean, like $100 back then was a lot of money, especially
Yeah.
when you were 7th grade. And they were so cool, and they were comfortable, and I had them, and nobody else did. And I guess I forgot to lock the locker or something, and they were gone. And I was like,
gone.
Who steals a pair of used shoes? I mean, I had worn them for quite. Are you seeing these shoes, Kevin?
Yeah, these look familiar.
They're awesome looking
Yeah.
shoes, aren't they?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And like everything with Dennis Rodman, they were super weird, but they were cool. And everyone's like, "These are the coolest shoes ever." And I was like, "I know." And then they're gone. And in the origin story, if they made a Rob Kendall origin story movie,
Yeah.
I was a normal, honor roll, polite kid, and then someone stole the shoes.
Did you
and then
pay for the shoes, or did your parents pay for the shoes?
How would I have paid for shoes in the 7th grade, Casey?
That's true. Cutting grass.
What, was I working on the family farm?
Paper route? Yeah. Newspaper route?
And I think that is the moment where my father just lectured me about how much things cost, and I never recovered from it. And that's when I became the cheap bastard that stands in front of you today.
We know the turning point.
Do you know how much those shoes cost? No.
It's the shoes that did it. Oh, man, that's rough. Well, you never did find out who stole them, did you?
Oh, and what would you do with used shoes anyway?
Sell them to somebody else, I guess.
Who would want to wear someone else's shoes?
Somebody wanted to literally walk in your shoes.
Oh my gosh, I would love to get a pair of those shoes again. If I could get, I bet that probably some retro shoe thing or something sells them. I bet they're totally expensive.
Right? They'd be worth a lot more now.
Oh my gosh, you would be able to just it would be like Field of Dreams. You'd be able to ease my pain if someone could get me.
Yeah, I found them on eBay, actually.
How much?
See?
It's $999.
I told you. That's a buy it now.
Yeah, it's a buy it
Can
now.
I see it? Can I see your monitor if I get up here?
I don't know if you can see this, but it says 1997 Converse All-Star Dennis Rodman.
What about, do they tie it from the side? What about 96? Maybe these are
let me check it out.
Yeah, see, because I don't know if they have to tie it from the side. I was thinking about the Rodmans. They tied it from the side, which was super cool when you're 13 years old.
Doesn't matter. You're not bidding on
Maybe
that.
they were 96. 96?
Well, I think those are even rarer because I'm not finding it here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They don't have
Never. Somebody build me a baseball field.
So Susan Beckwith is going to join us next for the Mind Your Manners segment.
Uplifting segment to go into Happy Susan.
We're going to talk about some yard manners.
We're going to talk about what?
Yard manners, your lawn.
Oh, there's etiquette when dealing with your lawn?
She's got a couple pointers
That's
for us,
crazy.
okay? It's coming up on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the jobs numbers are in, but what in the world do they mean? After the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Promises made, promises kept. Governor Mike Braun's bold leadership is already getting things done for Hoosiers. Governor Braun and State House Republicans are delivering massive property tax cuts. We're talking nearly $1.5 billion in relief. That's real money back in homeowners' pockets. But Braun didn't stop there. He cut local income tax capacity by nearly $2 billion and capped the local income tax rate to protect Hoosiers. And Braun led the fight to reform local government taxes, giving Hoosiers more say by requiring referendums be held in high turnout elections. Thanks to Governor Braun and State House Republicans, your property taxes will be lower. Future increases are reined in, and the system is now more transparent. Visit HoosierHope.org and let Governor Braun and Republican legislators know you support historic property tax cuts. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
Guys, just a heads up. Mother's Day is a week from Sunday. And this Mother's Day, whatever you do, if you have your mom with you, be sure to give a hug, a call, or a simple thank you. Let her know she's cherished. And Life Church would love to have you and Mom join them on Mother's Day. There'll be special elements at each Life Church location to make sure your mom or mother figure feels celebrated and special. Life Church believes in honor, and taking time to honor the one who cared for you out of selfless love is demonstrating the love of God to her. Learn more about Life Church's 4 Central Indiana locations on the web, lifechurchin.com.
Here's why the Hammer and Nigel Show trusts Window Nation. I'm talking an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Installers who specialize in windows, many with over 15 years experience.
Window Nation, they've got the best deals and the best products. Their windows are energy efficient. The nasty weather stays outside. Your perfect climate stays inside. And Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty on all of their windows, so you can save long into the future. And right now, get 60% off a house full of windows. For 2 years, you won't have to pay anything. No down payment, no interest, no monthly payments. You pay nothing until 2027. And when you get a house full of windows, you'll also get a free entry door. 866-90-NATION. Call, talk to one of their representatives, ask about all the deals. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
When you're hiring,
Have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our Rhino Shield has been on for 8 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Tired of digging through noise to find real news? Go straight to WIBC.com. Local stories, statewide impact, national headlines, info that matters. When news breaks, WIBC.com is already on it. Stay on the know while you're on the go.
Susan, looks like I'm losing my mind.
Casey, it's your favorite time of the week.
That's because it's Friday. It's our last segment on a Friday.
Time for you to go home.
That's right. And you too.
Well, that's true. And we wrap up the work week the same each week.
Yeah.
We send you, the fabulous, the talented, the amazing Kendall and Casey listeners, into the weekend with the skills necessary to be better members of society.
Yeah, it's just a little public service thing we do here on Fridays.
Because quite frankly, while you're great people, you need a little
tweaking,
refining. Segments called Mind Your Manners. Our own former Miss Indiana, Susan Beckwith, leads us through how to be better members of society each week. Susan, hello.
Hello. Happy Friday.
Okay, so we're doing lawn care etiquette this week. Casey, have you ever actually cut your own grass?
Oh, yeah, for many years. Many years. I actually enjoyed it because it was a workout.
Yeah.
It was is it bi-weekly? Twice a week?
Twice would be bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly workout that I did with the lawn.
So you did a push mower?
Yes.
Yeah.
Took me about an hour and a half each time.
Susan, you're a former Miss Indiana. Have you ever actually pushed a lawnmower?
Yeah, absolutely. Although Mike is very particular about the line, so he doesn't love it when I mow. So I don't do it very often.
Yeah, you're supposed to cut the lawn. I'm sure you knew this, Casey. You're supposed to cut the lawn. If you go diagonal one week, you're supposed to go vertical the next.
Yeah, switch it up.
Now, that may take you longer depending on how your lawn is structured, but it will make the grass grow straight is what I was always told.
This is true because if you keep going in the same pattern each week, you'll get indentations.
That's right.
From the wheels.
Right, very good.
Yeah.
All right, Susan, you were very adamant that we could do lawn care etiquette. I don't even know what the etiquette for that would be, but I'm very excited to learn about what a horrible member of society I've been. Go.
No, I don't see you doing any of these, but there are some scenarios that I just wanted to talk through quickly because I feel like they are so appropriate for that time of year. So a question that came through that I thought was really good is basically, are you able to prune or cut back something that is growing on your property that's either a tree or a shrub that's on your neighbor's property? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. If it crosses property lines, you can absolutely do that. However, there's kind of one caveat. I would say if it is going to impact the health of the plant or tree, just have a conversation with your neighbor first because you certainly don't want to cause, permanent damage.
Okay, this is crazy, and this is so timely because you may know, Casey, I have befriended everyone at the Brownsburg Arby's.
Yeah,
they know me by name. They know exactly what I want each time.
Right.
Like they love me and I love them.
I'm so curious as how this relates to what we're talking about.
Oh, I got a story for you. So the lady, I think she's the assistant manager there, one of the head honchos.
Yeah.
She was telling me during the most recent storms how her neighbor's tree had fell into their neighbor's yard. It was one of these people who lost a tree.
Gotcha.
And she learned, now they're very nice people, they were doing their best to pick everything up, etc. But Susan, did you know that in the state of Indiana, if a tree falls in someone else's yard, it is technically that person's job to pick it up?
Oh.
I did not know that.
Now we know.
If you lose a tree and it falls in someone else's yard, it is the person's yard to which it fell to clean that tree up.
I had no idea. I I wonder if that rule applies to items that have blown into someone else's yard, like lawn chairs or pool noodles, inner tubes, that sort of thing.
I don't
Toys.
know, but you would think they would want those things back so they might come get them.
Yeah.
However, a fallen tree, I would be like, well, good luck.
Have fun with that.
So, but it kind of relates to Susan's point here, which is you got to tell people if their stuff's growing into your yard, you got to prune it or do it, whatever, because you can't have that thing coming down in your yard because then it's your obligation to pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought that was very timely. I'm loving working out in my yard right now. It's been very, I don't know, just life-giving. So I felt like let's address all things yard today.
All right, what else do you have?
Yes.
So the other one, this actually happened to a family member that is new to the area, and mowing season just started for the most part. I mean, we're pretty new into it, but they were in communication with some landscaping companies to try to figure out what to do with this yard because they've just moved in, and apparently they just weren't quick enough to the draw, and the neighbor was upset, and so they contacted the HOA. And so I just kind of wanted to talk through, like, in this scenario, I think it would have been much better for that neighbor to go to them directly, because I think it could have been really avoided going through that whole lengthy process if they just would have had a conversation to say, yes, this is important to us too. We are working on it, and I really appreciate it. We can talk about it.
So this is like a tattletale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I love confrontation. I would totally seek out the person face to face. So wait. They didn't go to the person who was doing the thing. They just went to the HOA and were like, you got to tell them not to do this?
Yep, absolutely. And then come to find out, they had learned that one neighbor had talked to the other neighbor. And so I just feel like that was really unfortunate because now it's awkward.
Sounds like a big gossipy neighborhood.
Didn't somebody turn you in the HOA?
Yeah, that exact same thing happened to me.
You had a weed?
We had a dead patch of grass.
That's right, yes.
Remember, I mean, it's already bad enough we have a postage size stamp front yard.
That's right.
But there was a dead patch, and we weren't even done unboxing everything, and they had reported us to the HOA and said, you have to take care of this. Like, we didn't even really know what the rules were at this point. But we did take care of it, and it's lush and beautiful now.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah, hi. And the worst part is the HOA president was our wall mate right next door.
Oh, wow. No fun of any kind for you.
No, they moved out now.
Susan Beck with our guest. It's lawn care etiquette on Mind Your Manners. Go, Susan.
Okay, so another scenario that happened to a different friend of mine, there was some circumstance that also delayed them to getting to mow the grass, and so their neighbor just mowed their yard without talking to them.
Oh.
And so, that's another scenario I thought, this might be helpful to talk about because the intention may have been really good, but that's actually very intrusive and presumptuous. So I would say, just again, communicate like, hey, can I do this for you? I've got time. I would love to help you guys if there's something going on, but just assuming and doing it is not advisable.
Who wouldn't want someone else to mow their grass for them? Who got angry about that?
I think it hurt their feelings because they felt like they were, they just thought that they were neglectful, and there was a circumstance that dictated that. And so I feel like it all could have been avoided if everybody would have just talked.
Are you talking about the whole yard? I mean, I get it, that strip that can be between driveways. That's just like one or two lanes.
No, the entire yard.
The entire yard.
Upon herself then to write like a very lengthy thank you card and also kind of share exactly like what caused the delay, and so it was a whole thing.
That's crazy. So I've told my old man and then Fireman Scott, who's awesome, who's on the other side of me, I've told both of them, at any point, if you'd like to cut any part of my yard,
knock yourself out.
You just go right at it.
Do they do that ever?
Fireman Scott, because he's very meticulous, he not only cuts my side of the yard, but because any of my stuff could potentially impact his yard, I think he does all the other stuff.
He fertilizes
with it too.
And weed kills
just,
and all of it.
He's wonderful, yes. Me, he knows what a horrible neighbor I actually am, so he's like, I'll take my destiny into my own hands. And all right, Susan, tell us about your very fabulous website, Bella the Midwest, as well as the Facebook page.
Yeah, so my website is just one of the ways that you can find me. I'm really excited. We're going to be sharing some new content coming down the line, so be sure to follow that if you don't. But you can also find me on Facebook as well as Instagram.
Bella the Midwest, Belle, Belle, BELLE of the Midwest.
That's right.
As well as Facebook. .com. Let me try that again, Casey.
Okay.
Bell of the Midwest. It's Friday.
I know.
BELLE of the Midwest.com as well as Facebook.
You did it.
Highly trained professional.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan.
Yes, you guys have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. And that is going to do it for us today. Clearly, someone needs to get his Arby's and a nap.
Time to go to the Arby's, Casey.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you back here Monday. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Have recent storms caused damage to your roofing or siding? Cochran Exteriors is now offering free inspections to assess the condition of your home, from blown-offs to full replacements. Cochran Exteriors knows the insurance process and will make your home as